93.
Okay.
Welcome to choices number 15.
Hey.
Today,
Freaking me out.
Today we are gonna be
This is creepy.
spooking you.
Spooky.
Dude, I'm liking the voice.
spooky.
I'm really liking this.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. We obviously, my dad,
think
my
we are,
father,
Yes.
my Yoda. He's gonna be sharing some
Papa-san.
stories all the way from 343 BC.
Wow.
Back when I was just a kid.
Yes.
Yeah, back when I was 40. No, I'm just kidding.
I know, dude.
No,
You just
no,
made it worse. You just made it worse by being like, back when I was 40. He was trying to be tame with a kid show. Man, what a dick.
No, but for real, he's gonna share some George stories.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yes.
I'm gonna call him his supernatural best friend when he was a kid.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
can't wait to hear this stuff, seriously.
I'm super interested because I've heard kind of a little bit.
I've told a lot of the stories, but we'll tell them again tonight,
Yeah.
and we'll talk. We'll just talk. But you guys have stories too.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And then we'll kind of feed off of each other and take it from there. If anyone has a little,
Oh man, I got some juicy ones too.
ooh, you know how we like juiciness on the Choices podcast. So.
Real juicy.
Do you did you have anything lined up to take a first hit off this plate?
Well, I mean, it's up to you. I could jump right in and kind of start the stories, and stuff like that.
Was there
know?
let's see. Is there any questions we should ask him about George, his spooky friend?
So,
Yeah, I do have a few questions.
Elaborate about George.
Let me set up George for a second.
Okay,
here. So
yeah.
George was like my best friend and also the drummer for my band. We had a couple different bands during the time. From when I was like 14.
Okay.
He passed away when I was 17. He was 17, and he hung himself. Okay, and that's a whole story in itself.
Right.
You know, obviously.
So young.
Yeah, young
That is.
and but he was one of those guys that was just a peculiar guy, but like in a lot of different ways. Obviously we'll tell some supernatural stuff that I believe. There might have been some weed smoking back then.
Hey,
it
nothing
might-
wrong with that.
Allegedly.
I don't
Nothing
think
wrong with that.
I don't think because I've heard some of his stories though. There's no,
No,
way that you would
no,
get
no,
confused.
Yeah,
like,
dude,
if you
I've
smoke
smoked
weed,
allegedly one time, and I wouldn't,
and there's no like.
Yeah.
No,
One
I
time.
can promise
It doesn't
you that,
alter
yeah,
your
no,
reality.
Maybe acid or mushrooms.
No, I can promise
Yeah.
you the stories that we have are and they're corroborated by many people.
Oh, yeah.
It was definitely not drug induced, but nevertheless, he was just a very unusual character, even to the sense, I likened him a little bit to the David Blaine of the like 80s or whatever. I don't even know how long. I guess it was like the 70s or something. But because he was
So
not
sexy.
Well,
yeah,
343.
Well, not only he had like the ability to do crazy things. We'll talk about some of those things as we go.
Oh my
but
God,
but also he was like physically able to do things that most people couldn't. And I told the story one time on your pod or on your vlog.
On the story, like a story time video we made.
Where like he used to, he was like just like a just a normal dude, you know what I mean? Like he wasn't an athlete, he was a skinny guy, kind of typical like rock drummer, long black hair, skinny, tall, like
All arms.
yeah, just all arms and long legs and he would like he just like for fun decided to run the 2 mile in the track. Right,
Oh,
and like
Yeah, that's
so,
nice.
literally, like no, he's not a track guy. He's never played a sport in his life, and he would literally go against like the top in the states, and he would lap them.
That's what?
Literally lap
What?
them. The top guys in the state lap them, and then he would do like on the
crazy.
last lap, rather than being like, "I'm going to take home the the new state record."
Yeah.
he would do like somersaults on the last lap to kind of like push it into these guys, like "fuck you,"
Like, this is so easy for him.
Dude, that's crazy. Imagine that. That's like Usain Bolt. Like he's crushing these guys on the dash.
Right. And then dude
he
could do it barefoot practically.
And then he's just like doing some somersaults and
That
stuff.
is so crazy.
That's crazy.
So he was like physically did weird things, and not just that. I mean, even like contorting his body and do it like fitting into like he was.
What would he fit into?
Like he lived to freak people out as well.
That's
You know
so
what I mean?
cool.
Like,
Yeah.
and so he would like crawl up like in a cupboard in the kitchen. And like crush himself into a cupboard, and then the thing is, he would stay there for like an hour.
Oh,
Like
just to
an
get that
hour.
reaction
In
of
a
someone
cupboard.
opening
Just
it.
knowing that eventually someone was going to open the cupboard.
This is like a dude just built for entertainment. Like in every way
crazy.
possible.
If YouTube was back then, this dude would be like, he'd have 20 million.
famous.
no doubt.
Yeah.
But those are like the things you could explain. You know what I mean? Like I tell the story one time, and I had spent the night at. So this was like a band house. So basically, his mom and dad were divorced, and his mom was hardly ever home. I mean, she'd come home like once or twice a week. I'm not exactly sure why.
What?
So
Those
this
are the
was
best
like,
friends
yeah, it
to
was like
have.
a party house.
The best.
Like we had our band in the basement. We jammed. We had all these groupies over partying and literally
Groupies.
like 7 days a week. It was a party at that place. But like one night I was there and we were up in his room and it was me, him, and a guy named Rodney. And like so Rodney crashes and falls asleep. And literally George's like, watch this, man. And he goes and he sits by his head like a gargoyle. I am not kidding you. It must have been 2 hours. Never flinched. Just sat there with his face, like this close to his face, like a gargoyle, waiting for him to wake up. And look, like, I don't know, just to freak the guy out.
That is awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
dude.
so he did a lot of crazy things like that. Like
Imagine doing that. That would hurt. Like that's
Yeah, I know. I
jeez,
I
dude,
couldn't
the
do it.
burn you would feel the burn
Yeah.
after 10
Imagine
minutes.
what's going on in his mind, though. That's so
Yeah.
crazy
It's-
to me. Just
that-
like,
it is-
He's
can
addicted
you
to that
just-
thrill of the person scared, like that face or that, right?
It feels
Like-
deeper
Yeah.
than that though.
Right,
Maybe.
Yeah, like
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah,
these are
I
all-
kind of with you. It feels a
Yeah.
little deeper than that.
Yeah,
and
it's
these are things you could explain.
Yeah, those
you know,
are
people could
sure.
do that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So let's back up a little bit. First off, and a lot of the information I found out about George came from his mom, who was a social worker, by the way. Very normal social worker. Why she was never around, I don't know. What exactly the deal was. I believe, if I could be completely wrong, I think she was a social worker and she also worked another job so that she could support her 3 sons.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and then and I think what was the deal was she worked so long hours, she literally stayed across town because that was where her
Instead
main
of
job
driving
was.
back and
But
forth.
I believe that was the case, but I don't know. So anyways, I found out a lot about George after he passed away. And for starters, his grandmothers on both sides. So his grandma on his dad's side would practice white magic. And she lived right down the street. Like 3 doors down. But his grandma from his dad's side actually was black magic. And she died before he was born. And so so he, I guess, used to tell the story to his mom when he was like 2 and 3 years old, that at the bottom of the stairs, where ultimately right up the stairs to his room was where he hung himself. Ultimately, what I was talking about, where we slept that one night too. Well, many nights I spent the night over there. But you know, he used to tell his mom that when he was like 3 years old, that his grandma that had passed away would yell at him if he did from up the stairs if he did something wrong. And if he did something right, like that, or if he did something wrong, she would say, you're good. But if he did something good, she'd say, how dare you? You never do that again. And she would encourage.
What?
And this was a 3-year-old telling his mom that his dead grandma would yell at him from the top of the stairs for being
good deeds.
for doing good deeds.
Oh, I just got like the chills or something, man.
Dude,
I don't
that's
know.
so
Weird.
creepy.
Yeah, and so ultimately, also, his mom told me that this kind of starts the whole thing off. Is that his mom said that when he was like a few years old, they were walking just like around the whatever, and he said, "Mom, do you remember the day on the railroad tracks?" And she was like, what are you talking about? He goes, I was in your belly and you were telling me this, blah, 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 blah. And it was the exact conversation that she had told him when she was pregnant.
What the fuck?
Holy shit.
And then he told her that he chose her as a mom, that he was given the choice who he wanted as his mom. And that he was actually given the choice to choose her. So that just goes back to the beginnings.
That's crazy.
Of the craziness.
Can we
you know?
conspirate like size about that?
Yeah.
If that's a word, if
wanna
it's
hear
not a
about it.
word,
Yeah,
Dude,
no.
because
But
It's,
like-
it's a word now.
but
Yeah.
dude, like because if that is true, right? Well, like you know what I mean by when I
Yeah.
say that. Like I'm
Sure.
not
No,
saying it's
exactly.
false, but
No,
if it's
no.
true that he did choose his mom,
Yeah.
and his grandma passed away that was doing the dark arts,
Yeah.
then what if he was like some sort of demon spawn? And
Well,
since
easily, dude. And I just want to say, like, I know this might sound like far-fetched, but I knew people in Nevada that practice that dark art or black magic or whatever you want to call it, with the little altars and very interesting stuff. Let me tell you what, and I even have some stories about that. So I'm a believer of that 100%, but I have heard of like the white magic, black magic, stuff like that. But like you said, what the heck?
Because since it's in the blood of the family.
Yes.
It's like that's a good target.
Yeah.
You know, I just to play devil's advocate. Advocate.
Devil advocate.
Yeah, I can't say anything today. Just wondering, like maybe it's the opposite, like an angel. You know what I mean? Like, because think about it. Nature in its essence is beautiful and pure and good in a lot of ways, but like there's a lot of effed up stuff. You know.
Well, I think that could go both ways.
Right.
Yeah. In George's case, probably not so much. You know what I mean? You know, he was.
Well, there's more here that I don't know. But
no, he was definitely not an angel.
It sounds like it's someone that's waiting to scare the crap out of you when you wake up. That's a devil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think so.
Now I don't know if it's going to ruin the story, but like, what was did his dad pass before he was born? Was he just kind of not in his life?
No, he was. So his dad was a motorcycle guy. I shouldn't say the club name. It's a Detroit motorcycle club.
I'm sure I know which one.
He was a Vietnam veteran, and he's a pretty badass dude. I mean, we were all really afraid of George Sr. I mean,
so he was around, but he's just the big dog. He's kind of floating around.
He would just pop every now and then, and when he popped in, everyone was scared as hell.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah, he'd bust, but he
can't
bust
imagine
some heads,
the
man.
Bikers.
Can't roll it in, because if he doesn't beat your ass, his 15 friends will.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
And but as a matter of fact, that weirdly enough, Noah and I went to the cemetery last summer for the first time since I was a kid, since I was 17.
Oh, so you actually went to go visit his grave and stuff.
And his dad had just passed. And it was buried right next to him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we went there, and there was 2 George Solettis.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And the one had just been buried. So So his dad just passed this last year.
So basically, you had no idea until the moment you walked into the grave.
Idea.
Oh wow. Oh, that's heavy.
You know what's even weirder?
That's super heavy.
Andrea used to work at that Art and Jake's.
And
she
the restaurant
worked with George's brother.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Shut the front door.
What a small fucking world.
I know. When she came in, she said, "You know what, Joe Soletti?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she'll say, "I work with him." And so
that's crazy.
It's like how
I keep getting the chills, man.
This is so weird.
They're wild. Crazy. But what do you think next? I mean, I want you guys to tell stuff too. Should I talk about his death first and then backtrack, or what?
Honestly, I think that we should talk about some of the events that he did, some of the
supernatural.
Some of the more supernatural things that because we kind of covered more explainable things where it's just like, you can be kind of creatively twisted.
Yeah.
Right. And have the will to power through a tough situation.
Yeah.
But let's cover like the topics and the stories where it's like that's unexplainable. Is this even real life?
Well, I'll give you. There's so many of them, but like I remember the one.
I want to hear these.
I remember the one. I mean, I'll just start with this one. Okay. I remember because he would like he had that playful like look what I can do side. Like he was trying to always like impress people with what he could do. Not so much people, but like me and his close friends. And I remember one time, again, we always had parties every night, and there was always guys and girls there and stuff like that. And I remember there was this one dude that really, never got women. Right, never got women.
Always
and there
one.
and there was this.
I was that guy.
Yeah, and there was this, this one chick that used to come, hang out, and I think she had been around a lot of the guys over the course of the thing. But this one guy was
She's for the streets.
Yeah. But the one guy was definitely, he had a face for radio, as we say. And George said, he goes, watch this. He goes, I'm gonna make her through my mind hook up with them. And so he sat there and he like just stared at her for like 15 minutes. I'm not kidding you. Within a half an hour, she was making out with that dude.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's the type of stuff that was like, and you could maybe say, all right, well, maybe she just got drunk and she was, so again, you can start to explain
But the chances of that, like,
weird.
it doesn't even matter.
But he called it.
That he called it before and then it happens.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
But that's just
it can't be a coincidence.
No,
that's like some MK Ultra shit right there, man. Like straight mind control.
Yeah,
like,
he was really into that stuff. Like but that was again. again,
that is so crazy.
Funny, dude.
Maybe
That's
coincidence.
awesome.
Maybe
That's awesome.
coincidence. Maybe you can explain that away.
Maybe there's something he knew you didn't.
Yeah, right. Yeah, she had said something beforehand. You know, so
I'm sorry to be that guy. He got it though that night.
He got it.
He get it in?
Yeah.
Yes!
He tore it up.
Let me just tell you something. That was before the days of housing
The
your trouser mouth.
condominium.
Yeah.
The days before the
You
condominium.
didn't do that. Didn't do that.
No.
So,
When in
Wait.
doubt, pull out.
You were outside?
yeah, we were outside. Yeah.
Oh,
We
okay.
were- yeah, we were outside.
A condominium.
Yeah.
Yeah, latex one.
Yeah, a latex condominium.
There you go. He's getting it.
I'm kidding. I'm
Good
sorry.
job.
I'm a slow learner.
It's a good minute. You gotta get the clocks
No,
going,
dude,
you know?
everyone was outside, just butt-ass naked.
Dude, I like it.
Rolling around in the mud.
I wish I could have been there.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I don't.
1969, and we were all in Woodstock.
Let me
Butt-ass
tell
naked.
you another one that
that's
was
so
a little
cool.
less explainable.
All right.
And it was again, it was first off, it was just a weird world back then for us. Again, you got to remember, we're 15, 16 years old. Still in junior high and high school type of stuff, and we would go over there and you would have a table. He had a table, like a bench table in his kitchen that maybe like 6 or 8 people could sit by. And almost every night we would sit around this table and then he would be there and he would entertain us for hours. Like hours.
That's
like
so
he would just sit there
cool.
and do like crazy shit that like we're like and that was like part of a routine.
Yeah.
Like he
Right,
was doing
right.
this like stand-up act every night. Like, doing
That's
things.
so cool.
It's like having a magician for a friend. He's like,
Yeah, and it could be anything. It could be like he would like pretend like he was walking down the stairs, I mean, like
Yes,
perfectly. Or
yes.
just anything crazy, like,
Right.
contortionism or, hey, look at what I can do. I can make this happen. So anyways, one night there was only like 3 or 4 of us and we were all sitting around. George was sitting around the table too, and we're doing our nightly thing, just hanging out and stuff like that. And there was a candle that was lit in the middle of the table. And he goes, watch this. And he stares at it, and the candle, it's a glass candle. The glass breaks. Psh.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa, dude.
I would freak the F out if someone said that.
Whoa.
That's crazy, man.
Again,
I'd be like, what the fuck is in
how
my
do you
drink?
do that? How do you do that?
How did he
Candles-
do that?
And I've seen a candle break before, because it gets too hot, and then the glass will break.
Yep.
So that would mean that like he could like have like Superman with the laser, and then they just light it up.
It could
Right,
be that,
right.
I've also seen times at the same exact table where like a same thing, a cup is sitting there and it flies off the table.
Okay, so that's
staring.
different. I was about to say like a break, like I've literally seen like I mean even on Mythbusters, like they had the high frequency, and then like it'd get to a point where you couldn't truly hear it, but it'd get so high it would still break glass.
Sure.
Wow.
So so I highly doubt George was doing that.
Man.
No.
But
And
like
that's the thing- and
because
this
it's a
is the thing,
huge ass machine, but
I always say that as time goes on, you start to try to discount things that you see, right?
yeah.
You
Of
start
course
to,
you do.
You start
Of
looking
course you
for
do.
answers.
Yeah, because you're like, okay, this is, maybe that
But,
was a parlor trick.
Oh, and I'm a
maybe-
skeptic
how-
like a
but-
motherfucker,
Yeah.
so that's always how I
How
think.
would he
yeah.
have done that though?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But-
Yeah.
But I will tell you another one that was probably this was probably one of the most crazy things that I saw George do, and he didn't know I was there or we were there to see him. There was another friend of mine named Brian Grimsley who we were always hanging out, and we were like, I mean, again, you guys understand, we're young, we're stupid, we're partiers, and that's why I don't party anymore, because I got it out of my system really young.
Right,
Actually,
right.
to be honest with you, I haven't done drugs or anything since the day George died.
Like full discretion, I know this for a fact. He won't even like take aspirin or Benadryl.
No, I won't. I won't do anything, and that was because since George died, it just went on a different path. But anyways, point is that we used to smoke some weed and stuff like that, and there was a 7-Eleven that was right down the street.
Hell yeah, dude. Weed and 7-Eleven.
Yeah. Oh my god. And
Dude,
we
those
didn't
things
have,
like go together like
Yeah.
that.
and we
Taquitos.
didn't have hardly any money, so pretzels were 3 cents.
Oh yeah,
for
dude.
pretzels.
Oh
You got-
my
Little
God
pretzel
dang!
stick. Just a
Pretzels
pretzel stick, one stick. You could buy like you
Wait.
take the top off.
Was it on the little rolling thing with the hot
I know what
dogs
you're
and
saying.
everything like
I know
that?
what you're saying.
Yeah,
no,
just
no,
like
no,
a-
no, no.
just
Like
like
the
a-
jar, like the big
Yeah,
jar of
big jar
pretzel.
of
Oh,
pretzel.
the hard
Yeah.
pretzel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hard
hard
pretzels.
pretzel.
It's
I'm
like-
thinking like a
say.
soft pretzel.
No,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not.
Well, I thought of a soft
Me
pretzel. I'm like
too.
3 cents was
I'm
like
That's kind of badass.
I know.
Are you in the
Yeah.
20s?
This is when gasoline was 12 cents a gallon.
Right, great.
Jesus
No.
Christ.
Okay, I I get what you're saying.
Yeah, just a jar with it. So we used to go up there and we'd buy like, you know,
right?
we'd be stoned or whatever. We go buy like 5 pretzels or something like that for 15 cents, you know, because that was just
who
all
does
we
that with
did.
Cottonmouth? Like goes eats pretzels like, oh,
Dude, these are rock stars.
you know what? This
talking
could
about.
really
This
use
is
some
old school.
water.
Cottonmouth is the least of the
Because you can
worst.
probably get free mustard.
Dude, Cottonmouth would make a great band name.
Oh my God.
Probably already
Cottonmouth
made, bro.
Kings.
Never heard
The
of
Cottonmouth
Cottonmouth
Kings,
Jay,
dude.
can you
Yeah,
punch
exactly.
that up, Jay. Cottonmouth Band.
Cottonmouth Kings,
Cottonmouth
man.
Kings.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah, the Cottonmouth KMK, dog.
How do you not know who Cottonmouth Kings are?
Cottonmouth
You guys are posers, bro. No, I'm just
They're
kidding. I'm
like
just
the,
kidding.
the whitest band ever.
Well, maybe that's why.
The other one is with a K, Cottonmouth.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean that's Cottonmouth. Technically.
That's a dope design.
Yeah,
like,
but the Cottonmouth Kings, you know, freaking blaze it, legalize it, Pakalika, and all that
Oh yeah,
stuff,
dude.
and
Yeah,
There you
fuck
go.
yeah.
the
Legalize
Juggalos
it.
or whatever.
There you
but
go.
that's cool.
So anyways, you want me to
There
finish
we
the
go.
story?
Yeah,
So
pretzels.
Yeah,
pretzels.
it
let's
is.
get back
Yeah,
to this.
it is.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
see,
Look at these
Those look
motherfuckers.
more recognizable.
you
than,
know what's funny is all
the
these
random-
guys live where Mary used to live in California. If that tells you anything
okay,
about
wow,
her.
Oh
okay.
yeah,
there.
that tells you a lot. Actually,
Judge your character off that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Interesting.
your dad's a cop.
Should we hit some of these super chats? I see we got a bunch
Yeah,
of
why don't you hit some
Holy
super
hell.
chats, yeah. And then we'll tell that
Oh,
story.
Jay doesn't have mic. Okay.
Oh, yeah, you got to do it. Do you
So
want me to do it, or-
Steven hit us with a 5. Hey Bruce, we need to get you a headset. Let's play Modern Warfare later.
Ah, yeah, let's play it.
Did you have a headset?
I do not actually. I mute everybody and I just kind of play. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
I play. I mean, I'll play
I
along
don't
with the
talk to
squad
anybody
and stuff
either.
like that. But I mean, for the most part, to be honest with you, I run into a lot of kids and I can't stand hearing.
No,
them.
100%.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm totally down to play with people. I just got to eventually get the time to
Yeah.
buy a headset. I don't know.
It's
Like,
gotta be good enough.
there's no shops open around here to go buy a headset at. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
true.
true. Yeah,
All right,
GameStop
send him a
stuff.
headset, Steven, and he'll play with
yeah,
you.
bro, send me one.
Heaven Lee back with the 25. Thank you so much. I've been
girl.
waiting for this. Love you guys. Thank you so much, Heaven. Welcome back.
Heaven Lee, thank you so
Amy.
much.
Oh, the Tingle Monster's back
Amy
again.
Tingle, what's going on?
Amy Tingle.
Hey guys,
Tingle,
sending
yeah.
lots of love. Brian, I told kids hi and they're both boys. What?
Ah.
And the boy said we love Brian.
Well,
Hell yeah.
tell him I
Sorry,
said
I'm-
hi again.
What's up?
I'm that kid
Well,
in
Brian loves you.
I was that kid in school when like popcorn reading comes, when all the kids are like, "Yo,"
Oh, yeah.
they were like, "Yo, let's let's have a fun day today." Then they'll pick me because then I'll just like stumble over my words and
I
shit.
hated that. I hated
Oh,
that
yeah,
in
it's
school.
horrible.
That's
I still
me.
am not good at that. A little bit of dyslexia here.
Yeah.
You know, definitely.
Oh
Thank
yeah.
you so much, Amy. I appreciate
Amy.
it. Stacy Lee, just showing some love. Thank you,
Thank
Stacy.
you so much, Stacy.
Showing love back
Thank
to
you,
you.
Stacey.
Appreciate everyone. Mike's back in town. Hey,
What's
what's
up,
up, guys?
Mike?
Hope y'all staying well. New York on the way to being open.
Good.
Nice, man. I
Good.
hope so,
I'm
man.
so
That's
glad
really good, yeah.
he went through that little travel point
Yeah.
and whatnot and came back fine.
Yeah,
Dude, it's
good for
crazy
you,
because
Mike.
Mike.
He picked up like a jewelry box.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
that's what
Yeah.
it that's
Yeah,
what
Remember,
I'm
yeah,
talking
he hit
Yeah.
a quick lick or two. He picked up a couple
Yeah.
jewelry boxes.
Yo, man, he is a bold man. I'm telling
He
you
is
that.
full. I know.
He's
They
a
were
bold
chests.
man.
They were treasure chests. He
Nice.
sent me a little.
Dude, that's cool. I
oh,
want to
you
see
have
him. You
have
gotta show me.
us that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love that kind of
I
shit.
bought a couple-
I love him, man.
I bought them for the low because
Damn, are they hot?
yeah, they're hot. That's
Hell
why.
yeah.
Damn.
And with that being said, EJC, love you guys. Keep up the good work. I currently own 50 reptiles.
Damn.
Look at that.
Dig a dang.
That's a
yeah,
lot.
that's a lot.
Right there.
That's a lot.
That's
started-
Cute. That's cute. I remember.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember my first
That's
ball
cute.
python.
That's cute.
Oh shit.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thanks,
Soulless
man. Sorry,
Honky back again. Hey everyone, greetings from Portland 666. Dude,
up,
it's
brother?
it's the
What's
devil
happening?
himself, Soulless
Oh,
Honky.
he's probably liking this, man.
El
So-
Diablo.
So does Soulless Honky mean that he is white ginger?
Oh,
That's-
wow.
So he's-
I
I
just
get
put that
it because you said
together.
it was soulless.
Yeah. So
okay.
he has no soul because he's ginger and he's white. So
Or we could be pissing him off. He could just be like a badass, you know, like
Yeah.
no
I have
soul.
I have to
you know?
ask.
I don't know.
I've always thought honky meant a city boy. Is that what?
No,
I don't
it's just
know.
white.
It's
just
like
white.
a
It's a white dude? That's
yeah.
just a general term for
white.
I
I don't
believe
know.
it's a racial term.
Yeah, it's
a
a-
racial
I
slur.
always
Yeah,
I always thought like
Caucasian.
a white city boy. That
thought
was
it
why I
was-
thought.
I don't
honky.
know.
It's like Cracker.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
It's like that.
Cracker,
Dude, I just-
Cracker Barrel.
It's
pretty
You want to
good.
hear some funny stuff? For like my whole life, I thought they like people were called white people crackers because of like Ritz crackers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
because we look
the
similar.
Every
white-
white
you know
person
what I
has
mean?
a Ritz cracker. I
And
even
I-
have some.
I
I
put
don't have any
you
other
put a
groceries.
saltine up to my arm, and it's almost exact match.
Exactly, like a
Yeah.
salty, exactly. And then I found out the real reason. I'm like, wow, that's so
that's
fucked
deep.
up.
That's
It's a
pretty
lot.
deep.
It's a lot harder to say the word cracker
Yeah.
when you figure it out why they say it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, let's.
I'm gonna move on. But yeah.
Just saying. With the another dono, thank you very much.
Thank
I
you so much.
appreciate it.
Just saying.
Thank you.
Stu Blair, since I've been watching all your guys' videos, I started liking reptiles. Still hate spiders though.
We'll get
Yeah,
you
I
over
hate
that.
spiders.
We'll
No, I'm
get
just
we'll
kidding.
get we'll get you over that.
Come up to
Don't you
Rep
worry
Paragon.
about that.
I will hook you up.
Yeah, Bruce will
remember,
get you over.
Bruce has this very special OnlyFans account. Remember with the tarantulas? What you do with that?
Yep.
So if you want to get over your
if you want to
fear-
get on his OnlyFans and get sexually aroused.
Hey man, you know, like quarantine time, got to make that money.
Gotta
you know?
make
Yeah,
that
I actually am his photographer, so I'm very proud of that.
Very proud.
Hey, you know he really gets the
do the macro,
angles right.
do the macro shots.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta get
We'll
on.
just call it that.
Just
yeah.
place that little thing over here on your leg. There. Oh, perfect.
Stop
There we
talking
go.
about my dick like it's so small.
You said a little thing. That's itty bitty hands.
It's like Gator Rice. We'll do marbles next week.
That's the jumping spider.
Thank you guys so much for all the super chats. We really do appreciate it.
Thank
And
you
everyone
guys.
else watching.
Thank you guys. Yeah, thank
Let's
you.
get back into some of the stories.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
half
let's hear
ginger.
more. Let's hear more.
half
Oh, he's
ginger.
half?
Yeah.
How are you half ginger?
How are
Half
you?
ginger. He's like Eric.
Dude, it's like me. I got a
Because
red beard, but I got
strawberry
blonde hair.
blonde.
Yeah, he does. Look at Eric's
I'm a
beard.
hybrid, and I
Well,
got
actually,
black
no,
chest
I
hair.
get red.
What?
He's a soulless honky.
Yeah.
Eric's a soulless
What's up, bro?
honky, bro.
See,
I think my mom was
I actually
fooling
get
around.
red facial hair as well too. I
That's
just
crazy.
can't grow a beard.
I think it's
so,
the
yeah.
southern part, right? It's
Southern.
gotta be.
It's the sudden
Or
love.
the Irish,
baby.
but all right.
It's the Cajun seasoning in your heart.
There's a lot in my heart. That's for sure.
All right. You were
Yeah, sorry,
this
I
is
wanna
what you were
back
talking
this.
about.
Yeah, so
the story was
pretzels.
the story was with you and your friend Brian, and then you saw George do something that he didn't know that you saw him do.
Right. So 7-Eleven was a block and a half away. You know, you walk straight up the street, but it's in a part of the area where there's like alleyways in between streets, right?
Yeah.
You know, so you've got streets like parallel to one another, and then the alleyways connect.
Yeah.
And so it was, dark. I don't remember the time. It could have been 11 o'clock, could have been 1 in the morning, whatever it is. George oftentimes walked his girlfriend home that lived just like 3-4 blocks away at night. And so he had left a while ago, and I don't even know if we remembered that he had left. And so we're like, let's go to 7-Eleven, cop some pretzels,
Yeah.
And so we're walking to 7-Eleven. Well, we actually were walking back from 7-Eleven, and we spotted George across to the next alleyway, right? So a good, 50 yards away or something like that. And out of nowhere, he literally punches a dumpster, right? A big dumpster. The dumpster moves like 3 feet.
Holy shit.
Moves like 3 feet.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like
now you're
three-
talking about like
I'm
maybe,
talking a 10-yard dumpster.
yeah, like
a
what you would
steel
see at an
dumpster.
apartment complex.
like an empty
or-
dumpster or like a full dumpster.
I didn't go over it. It didn't matter to me at
That
that
would've
point.
scared the
you know?
shit out of
I mean,
me.
at that
I
point,
don't care if it's empty. I don't
Yeah.
think the strongest guy could punch one
No.
3
Yeah.
foot.
And just like
Right?
again, he didn't.
I don't know. You break your hand.
I don't know,
You know, again,
man.
he
Yeah.
didn't look at us like, "Oh, look at this." He didn't. He just like punched it, and me and Brian were like, "What the fuck?" And he was far enough away where you couldn't even be like, "What did you just do?" And I think we were just like both like just. I'll be honest with you. I think we walked back to the house. He ended up there probably 5 minutes after or shortly thereafter. I don't think we ever even brought it up to him.
Yeah,
It was
because
almost
it's like he was doing his own thing. He was pissed off.
Yeah.
Let him kind
It
of
was
give him his
almost like
space.
he didn't want. You didn't.
Yeah, no,
Holy
I,
shit.
dude, honestly, I can't blame you because you see a guy punch
Yeah.
a freaking dumpster
Yeah.
3 freaking feet.
Yeah.
You don't want to fuck
But
with them.
in the way he did
Cave
it,
your
though, the way
stone.
he did it, it didn't. I mean, again, this is it's been a long time, but the feeling I had at the point wasn't like he was punching out of anger. It was almost like he was punching. The way I envision it is like, if you were a superhero and you're just like, I'm going to throw this fucking car across just because I can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're just like
That's
fucking
what it
it's kind of
around.
like a release.
It was
almost.
almost
Yeah.
like he was just punching the dumpster because he can, or to
Yeah.
prove to himself that he had this power.
Right.
Holy shit.
And again,
awesome.
I don't know if that's what he was thinking. That's the way I felt about it when I saw it, and
That's
that's the way I still
awesome.
feel about it to this day.
That's so crazy, Brian.
That's oh my
That's so
god, that
cool.
would
I wish,
that would
like-
make me lose my shit if I saw that.
I wish I could do that.
But so this
Don't-
house was
right?
so this house was like obviously very haunted. I mean, everyone that was there had been there, knew there was you know, and listen, it wasn't like it was a
wasn't there another hanging in the garage or
no, that was actually that was okay. I'm gonna go into this. So George used to put a noose in the garage. And and he would say, like, it was like those people that do the asphyxia or whatever.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I did the motion, but I just
they're usually
they're
usually jerking it. If they're choking
he wasn't jerking it, but he.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. That was my first thought.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Going with that.
I in hindsight, he was always trying to get me to do it. He's like, dude, you should go in here and just lean forward, and when you start to black out, I'll stop you. But I seriously, looking back, I think he might have just let me die.
Yeah, man, you never know. You never know.
I seriously believe this, because going back to when we were first hanging out again, smoking some weed and stuff like that. There was this place we called the Crates, because it was a yard that had all these crates, and they were stacked like 30 feet in the air. And there were they'd be stacked, all these stacks of 30 feet. So we climbed to the top and we would hollow out like little forts.
That's so cool.
It was super cool, and that's where we go and smoke weed.
That's badass.
Badass weed.
A lot better than me. We just go to Woodline, no one other teachers can see.
Yeah. So he one night, me and him are there, and we smoke some weed, and we're just chilling out. And I remember it's a dark night, and I remember his eyes just looked black. He already had dark eyes, but his eyes looked black that day. Oh. And he looked at me and he goes, I could kill you right now and no one would ever know. And so that's the type of
vibe you were getting from him,
and although
dude,
he was like one of my best friends, like, you feared him.
Exactly,
you feared
yeah,
him because you just didn't know what he could do. And I'll give you an idea. They actually did this. This was a thing that he did. Is that one night we're hanging out, and there's this guy named Paul Vaness. Brian Grimsley was there. Paul Vaness, myself, and George were there. There's the four of us, and Paul lived a block away. And they were like, George is like, let's go kill your brother, steal his car and his money, and let's just hit the road. And I was like, guys, I'm out. Because everyone's like, yeah, let's do this, man. And so I'm like, I'm out. And I literally walked home because I was like, I don't want to have anything to do with this.
Yeah.
They went down the street. This is like in the middle of the night. Went down the street with a baseball bat and slugged him in his head while he was sleeping. Now, weirdly enough, apparently it's not like the movies. He got up and started beating them up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
he got up and started beating them up, and they ran out of the place, and then they went to the same 7-Eleven and stole someone's car, and they got caught in Midland, Michigan.
Holy shit.
And what? And get this. George ran away in Midland. This is like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, Midland's up there.
No.
Brian and Paul went to juvenile. George somehow got home. Never got caught.
What?
Was never
Holy
involved.
shit.
Never involved.
Wait, so they didn't like rat on him or anything
like
that?
They didn't rat on him, and
what?
somehow he made it home.
And
somehow he made it home.
That proves to the fact
crazy.
With the crazy stamina /
Yeah,
ability.
I don't know. God knows how he got home. I mean,
no
like,
way
right,
he had money.
yeah,
he had
like,
to
what the fuck?
walked or like you know what I mean.
That's
You're a kid,
really creepy, man.
I wasn't a kid at your age, but when I was that age, you don't have any money.
No.
What are you going to do?
Yeah,
Buy a cab? You know?
This is before cell phones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
you
just make your way home. I mean, but
somehow have change for that payphone.
Holy shit!
And then actually have
Probably
money for that
fucking
cab
walked all the way back.
Yeah, he probably
or
did.
It's
possible. It's
no
possible.
No one ever talked about it. Obviously, Brian and Paul were gone for months, like 6 months. We didn't see them.
Ooh.
They were gone, and like George just never talked about it. You know,
And what the
about it. And I didn't really find out about the fact that Paul's brother beat them up until they got out of juvie. Like, I just didn't know what happened. I just knew. I was like, man, maybe these guys like did almost kill him, and now they're in juvie. Like, no one really knew what happened. It wasn't until after that. So that my point is his mental state was
crazy,
unlike an angel.
Yeah,
right?
no, that's very clear.
But at the same time, he was the guy that when you go to a party or you go to anything, he was the guy everyone wanted to hang out with.
Yeah,
like he had that charisma,
that energy
about him that everyone loved, and
they also said that about Ted Bundy. Just
exactly
saying that.
right,
yeah.
exactly.
Well, that's how it is. Like I personally had a similar friend where exactly kind of people kind of
gravitated
to him, but honestly, with a different perspective nowadays, he was a very evil person.
Right? Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
it always is like that for
like,
whatever reason.
Yeah, and I don't know, why is it like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe there's, I don't know.
It's strange.
Well, to add on to that, like, you know, you're talking about charisma here, like, you know, speaking of Ted Bundy, like, you know, like, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Ted Bundy used to work on a suicide hotline.
Yes.
He actually
did.
legitimately worked on one, like on the calls. Like he would be handling, like saying, like, "No, you're fine, bro." Like whatever.
Yeah.
And like, and there
come
was
on over. I've got a freezer.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Like, here, let me take a spray can and shove it up.
Yeah.
You know,
he's a heavy hitter.
Like, that
Ted
motherfucker's
Bundy.
a fucked up motherfucker.
So did Ted like convince people to kill themselves?
No. They said he was like the best worker they've ever had.
He was like one of the people who were saving
and the lady,
people's lives and
he was
shit.
like friends with one of the girls. The poor girl was maybe
she wrote a book and stuff like that.
She's a little too ugly for him to kill because he'd kill all the hot chicks.
Oh, dude, he was all about it. Well, they all looked the exact same because all like brunettes and stuff like that. Yeah.
No, really, yeah, like they were all smoking
one
hot.
Woman that was like super, like he was in love with, and they just went
like
a rampage.
one model.
Yeah, we watched that movie.
Model 307.
That's a really creepy one.
Oh, man.
It's like they're missing that part of their brain where you could have a little baby bird. I wouldn't crush it or kill it. They could kill it, and they wouldn't even think twice about it.
It might
Do you
make
know
them
what
feel
I mean?
good.
It might make them feel
in a lot of
good.
ways.
Like they're missing that part of their brain. Like what would you call that? Remorse or
Maybe it wouldn't even be missing.
Yeah.
Maybe it wouldn't be missing that part of the brain. Maybe they have something extra we don't.
Dude, I know.
Yeah, I mean,
or maybe
survival.
something.
No, right? That's what I was going to say too about him. Like maybe because you hear that stuff about if you were capable to use more than 10% of your brain or 15% of your brain, you would almost have crazy abilities.
Right. Like that movie with the pill.
Oh yeah.
That
Limitless.
Limitless.
But I think even
Yeah,
crazy that they said you could like bend stuff with your hand, like with your movement or whatever. But who really knows, right?
You can do that on acid.
Again,
Yeah, you can. But that fucker opens your third eye.
Yeah. That's the other thing that George would do too, is he would bend silverware. Now again, this is before the internet. This is, I know magicians can do that shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Where would a 15-year-old kid learn?
Was there a bunch of magician books laying around? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
I've never heard him talk about magic. I never saw anyone teaching
Because
him
that's
magic.
hours and hours and hours and hours of training to do that.
You'd probably have to go a far way just to get to a magic shop that you would learn all this shit.
And it's hours of learning.
Growing up where I am, I've never seen a magic shop in my neighborhood.
And you never seen them practicing, did you? Because hell, it takes years to.
So that really crazy stuff. And let me just let me go back and talk a little bit about the house too.
Yeah,
right.
Let's hear
So again, everyone had experiences. Every single person had experiences at that house, and it was always dark experiences, right? I mean, it wasn't like, oh, grandma's coming to visit. It was always like you felt like you were being attacked. I mean, there was never a point. I mean, you'd see things move. You'd see, shadows all the time going on. Oh my God. It always felt creepy. When I would sleep there at night, man, so it was a bungalow, right? So these are the type of houses that have the pitch roofs where there's like the little closets in the wall. You know what I mean? That's like little tiny cutouts, almost like triangles on the side. So first off, you'd be sleeping there and you would always hear stuff knocking inside the closets. Like, like right next to your bed, you'd hear stuff knocking.
What the hell?
Constantly,
like
all night
knocking,
long.
like.
Oh yeah, knocking, or scratching on the walls. I mean, it was like all night long.
Shit.
It was terrible. As a matter of fact, Rodney, the guy I told you about earlier, that the gargoyle stance, sleeping guy, he actually at one point ran away and was hiding out in the closets. He would sleep in the closets so that no one would know he was there because he didn't want to go home. And he literally said he woke up one night and there was a face right on him, like a white glowing face right over the top of him inside this closet. And he said he literally left and went back home.
Golly, you want me to scream like a little girl? That's how you get me to scream like a little girl. Like,
so anyway, so go ahead.
Do you remember, just because you said scratching and stuff, do you remember when you said, and I remember this too, me telling you when I was a kid that I heard scratching in the closet, like my wall was my sister's closet. So here's my wall, and then on the other side of the wall is inside of the closet of my sister's room. And I would be like laying down at night, and I would hear like scratches in the closet.
Oh,
like
God.
I have to ask, just because this is not something I've personally ever really experienced in my life, but like so when you're hearing scratches, is it like a slow like, or is it like a?
Well, weirdly
no,
enough,
it's just
and I don't mean to say like a rat like no I mean like is it like something like heavily scratching on, or something that's just like making little marks, marks,
heavy like.
Okay.
Yeah, and weirdly enough,
I
will say one night you came and got, I don't know if you remember this, one night, I don't know how old you were, but you came and got us, and we were kind of like, yeah, whatever, you know. Right. And I remember I heard scratching too. And, and I was just like, oh, it's nothing. Just go to sleep.
Well, yeah, because you're the dad. Like, don't make your son even more freaked out.
Locking your door and shit in your bedroom.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, if they're going to take him, take him.
That's fucked.
Take him.
That's so fucked.
If there was a bear chasing you both, you'd be tripping him. Like, get it first.
Oh, shit. That's
Just go
funny.
back to sleep, hon. You'll be fine.
Yeah. I don't hear anything.
Maybe a demon on the other side.
Oh,
just
my
a demon
God.
in your closet.
That's
You'll be all right,
man.
But I really
freaky.
thought that maybe it was
really
like a squirrel in the wall or something. I swear to God.
Oh my God, that's even worse though. To me, a squirrel's horrible, man.
That wasn't a squirrel.
Man, but squirrels aren't up at night, right?
Yeah, and they're not in the middle of a wall.
Yeah, like in the middle of the closet wall. It's like an outside wall.
You'd be hearing it way more consistently if it was in the wall. They're just like, ah!
Well, again, you start to justify everything, right? Like you try to, you know, like, oh, well, it must not have been that, you know.
So
right.
That's what I do at my house when I
like
see
you just,
shit.
You just kind of you go through your little process of like, oh, the pipes are leaky or this or that.
Yeah.
You know, like you always just kind of find an explanation.
Yeah,
for
and
it.
I've been through a lot of paranormal my whole life, really, going back to when I was younger. And I could tell a story about this in a little bit if you guys want to. But yeah, even the most crazy paranormal experiences, you know, a day or two later, you start really questioning, like, is that possible?
I know.
There has to be a reasonable, you know, thing that went on.
I find with myself is that when there's something that an experience or something that is leaves you with question, you search for an answer, and you can convince yourself to believe any answer is true over time. Yeah.
Here's the thing though, and like this to throw a bone in all that, like, you know, like every time you always search for an answer though, you ever notice that like these sort of phenomenons, if you will, they always sort of happen similarly. Like, so like that scratching that you guys are talking about, it's not just unique to you. That's unique. That's other people experience that. You know what I mean? These are things that everyone sort of endures at some level or another. So it's like when you're searching for that answer, you're like, oh shit, other people have dealt with this too, and there was no answer that they found, and they've been dealing it for 10 years.
That's
shit,
freaky.
you know, like, oh my God, like talk about a more freak out version, because especially when you're experiencing something and you don't know how to explain it, you're trying to look for answers, and the answers are even worse than you thought.
Yeah, when people corroborate, it's almost worse. But going back to the house, two quick stories. Number one, and these came from Nancy, George's mom, after he passed away, because we spent like, you know, the couple weeks after George died, I spent a lot of time at his house with his family just to feel, you know, like we were all grieving pretty bad, right?
Right. Of course.
Yeah, you can't just walk away.
Yeah. And so I felt comfort being there, especially with his mom. You know, and so she told me a story of when they first moved into that house, that much like all of us, you know, have. Again, you know, I told you about these closets, right? Right. Well, I guess when they first moved in, there weren't closets there. There were just walls there, and then ultimately they opened up the walls to make them into storage, because originally there was no bedrooms upstairs. It was just a upstairs like loft. Yeah. You know, all over. And I'll tell you a story about that upstairs loft in a second. But so when they decided they were going to make it into bedrooms up there and expand, they opened up those walls. Well, anyways, before this, when they had first moved in, things like, you know, silverware and socks and stuff like that would disappear, just like always. We talk about it at our house. Like, how many freaking spoons have we lost, you know?
Like, it literally happens all the time.
Yeah. But when they opened up the walls, all the stuff was inside the wall.
Like everything that's been missing?
Yeah, the spoons and socks and a whole bunch of stuff was
so
inside
it's not
the wall.
just like something was just like, oh, it just maybe got in the washer or something like that. No, like this shit legit went missing and went somewhere.
Dude, that's fucking creepy.
Like, honestly though, what if the fuck? What if that happens to us and we just don't know it because we don't bust down our walls?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Dude, don't even. That's you're freaking me out.
You know what I mean? Because like,
because your dad's like connected to him, man.
Dude,
he was your boy.
That's so freaky. You know, literally all these years later, you know, 30-something years later, he still scares me. It's still, you know, still's like, as a matter of fact, didn't someone just say, oh, we should get a medium so you can connect with it? I'm like, no.
My God, Brian, you have to.
No.
Dude.
No.
Oh, my. I don't know, though. I don't know.
Because you know what? I've watched enough movies at this point in time to know that type of thing is going to be exactly how the end of the world happens.
Dude, he said that when he was in human form, he said that he was going to kill him and nobody would know. How he would kill him?
Right? If he was a spirit, there's no stopping him.
Yeah, exactly, dude. No, I'm good.
Dude,
that's crazy.
So, but so then again,
scaring me
again before they put the bedrooms up there. He had an uncle named Uncle Kenny, who ironically enough passed away about a month before.
Oh, Kenny died.
Yeah,
and he was at the cemetery as well.
Kenny. Yeah, he was at the cemetery.
They were all together.
They were together, and Kenny was a big burly biker. I'm talking like he's the guy that like you don't want to mess with type of biker.
Weirdly
enough,
guy. Kenny is a very common name for bikers.
Yeah. So, anyways, I guess at some point he had asked if he could stay in their attic, you know, because he was down on his luck or whatever, and he was like, "Hey," and they're like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." So he moved in. You know, he's a big guy, so I guess he had some weights and stuff like that. Well, they worked opposite shifts, where you know, like basically he was sleeping when they were at work, and vice versa, whatever. So I guess like you know. Whatever, Nancy had told me a couple weeks had went by, and she ran into him at the grocery store, and she said like, Kenny, you know, I love you, and you're welcome to stay here as much as you want, but please don't work out when we're sleeping because you've been keeping me awake at night banging stuff around. And he goes, I didn't want to tell you this. He goes, I moved out 2 weeks ago because I woke up in the middle of the night and shit was flying around in my room. He said, I fucking packed my clothes and got the fuck out of there. He goes, I didn't want to tell you because I thought you guys would think I was crazy.
What?
What the fuck, man?
Yeah,
how crazy.
Like, how is somebody not called a priest or some shit? Jesus Christ.
But I'm with Kenny, man. If I see one little fucking thing flying around, I'm getting the hell out. I'm questioning my mental health first.
I need, like, Father McDaniel down here to
dude.
fucking sit there and say something, man. Shit.
Isn't it?
Holy fuck. Whoa.
It's so weird, like, because there's a word for that. The poltergeist is what
that
is called.
That's exactly what that is.
Oh my God.
And it's like,
holy shit.
You know, we only see it in movies, and then when you hear it through a story, it feels different because it's, you know, it's reality.
Yeah.
It's not a
reality.
movie.
Yeah.
So it just leaves you with a lot of questions, you know? You're just like, whoa, what the fuck
Dude,
is
but
that?
when you kind of open up that book, though, and you start looking into it, like, it is crazy the stuff that's out there. And like,
doesn't it feels
I don't know,
better when you just
leave
it alone.
Leave it alone. I'll watch the Teletubbies instead. No, but it's like when that stuff out in Nevada, like with that black magic stuff, like I seen shit. Like like you said, I don't know if this guy was a magician or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like this is a whole thing that not a lot of people know about, not a lot of people study, and you can see why.
Well, the people that do study and do all that, they're not taken seriously in the scientific
No,
community.
they're not. No, they're not. No, they are not at all. You would think they're. I thought he was
crazy.
I thought he was a kook at first. I'm like, this guy's crazy.
Like honestly, if you really think about it, like
science.
why? Yeah, it is a level of science. Like to some places they're respected, and some places they're not, and it's so crazy. You know what I mean? Like
that is true because you would think that scientists would want a scientific explanation rather than just
with everything, with every part of our lives, there is a scientific explanation because what is science? Science is life. That is what.
But there's no way we just die and that's it. There's effing spirits and shit like that, man. I'm telling, like, I don't know that for a fact, obviously, but the evidence I've seen, it's like, holy shit.
There's certainly something. I mean, energy.
Right?
Energy
you don't just die
energy,
and that's it.
Energy goes somewhere. Energy is
energy.
Right?
Yeah.
Energy always transfers.
Energy always transfers. And if there's energy with life, it can't just
Dude,
go
it's
away.
that grandma, man.
It's that grandma.
It's the grandma, right?
I do think that it's the grandma. And
I think she has a big role in it.
I want to say one thing before we hit up some super chats right here, and then we'll continue on.
Yeah.
Dude, so like we have clarified, George, you know, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's been gone for a very long time, right? When my dad was 17 and my uncle Dwayne was probably around the same age.
16, he was a year younger.
So years down the road, he had my cousin Vinny. Yeah. And my cousin was like 3 years old. And you know, little 3-year-olds, they don't really talk a lot, right?
No, not really.
And then Vinny said to my Uncle Dwayne that he is George.
Yeah.
Like he is the rebirthing.
Yeah, he didn't even know about George. He didn't even know about George.
I'm gonna get heading out, guys.
Yo,
you guys are freaking me out, dude.
Fucking Antichrist was speaking. Holy shit.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
But it's weird.
That's why I won't have kids. If a little 3-year-old said some demonic shit, I'm sorry. I just blow its head off. Put some holy water on it.
True.
Right?
Kick him off a cliff.
That shit is scary to me, man. Little kids freak me out.
Spartan kick him off.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
This is for Sparta.
Right down the well.
But it's just weird
He
because
said that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it, but it's like
What
his
the
life
fuck?
doesn't show it though. Like
his life doesn't show it.
He's not like like
Even
I've
Boy
lived my
George
whole life
is-
with him.
Right.
He hasn't done anything like these stories. Like
Right.
he's obviously
It's
not.
almost like George was sort of speaking through him at that point.
Speaking through him to maybe because he's such a prankster, you said. Like, I
Yeah,
believe
who
that
knows,
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Clearly
I've
trying
always
to
said
fuck with
that
you.
it's been weird, and I hope it stays the rest of my life this way. I've always been surprised that it hasn't he hasn't shown up in my life.
I wanted to ask you about
Why would you
this.
say that
Like, do you ever have any?
out loud?
Well, like just another devil's advocate, I guess.
Oh God.
But maybe he has. You just don't realize it.
It's
Oh.
possible.
It's kind of like a lot of the way if you look at religion, how they're like
It's
God
Jay.
shows up in so many ways
Look
you don't
at him.
realize.
Yeah.
Dude, he
It's
kind of
Jay.
looks a little
He
freaky.
does
or
look a little
something.
freaky
He looks
right now.
demonic, I
Yeah,
think.
He does look a little.
Yeah, because Jay's definitely a tall, skinny guy with dark
Yeah,
black hair.
yeah.
Well, tall.
Yeah.
is-
Well,
George, you used to run track, didn't you, Jay?
yeah, he did. Dude, look at those legs. That man
champ,
could run.
State champ, man.
No,
State
I'm just
champ.
fucking. I'm just fucking around. But do you ever have any dreams where you like interact with them or anything, or like
Not
talk
s-
to them, or
not so much anymore, but I do still occasionally. You want to talk about a trippy thing? I do occasionally get dreams that I wake up alone in his house.
oh my
Yeah.
god, oh.
Yeah, and that's a fucking scary dream, man. It's like
that's a
somehow it's
fucking
like-
nightmare, huh?
And it was weird when we went there. Now this is again 32 years ago. We went there this last summer.
Yeah.
I'm talking exactly the same house. Even there was a sticker on one of the windows. The sticker is still there. I
There
mean,
was
like
a
they have
sticker.
not changed one thing.
You're kidding me.
The house
Holy
is
shit.
exactly the same as it was.
Dude,
Dude,
like some
and wait,
American
dude-
Horror Story
Dude,
shit.
it was
yeah.
really scary, dude. Listen to this. So we were spooking ourselves out because, like I said, I've heard like a lot of these stories before, and we're at this house, and he's like, "Oh my God, this is where this happened. This is where this happened," and we're walking back to the car. We're looking at the house, and then kids bolt out of one of the houses and are screaming at the top of their lungs.
That was scary.
And it scared the fuck out of me. I have it on camera. It's in the video actually.
Holy
But it's just
shit.
like it's just a weird coincidence. It's
Yeah, that
like
was a
we
coincidence,
are
yeah.
scared, and then all of a sudden, when do you walk down the street and there's kids running out?
do people live there or
you
no?
know-
So this is what's interesting.
like
is
it was just a
Dwayne-
weird coincidence.
that was the first time I'd been by there
Scary,
since
though.
I was young. But Dwayne, again, he lived a block over,
Yeah.
and he for whatever reason said he drives by there. He said about every 3 to 4 months the house would go up for sale, or
No
or
kidding.
like be for rent.
Yeah.
No
He
kidding.
said about every 3 or 4 months there'd be a turnover in the house. So,
Dude.
so, you know,
we
you
gotta
wanna-
buy it.
I don't want to.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't want to stir
Whoa.
up any old emotions with you, but we gotta go show up this place cold hard cash. Say, listen, get a hotel. We're gonna stay the
we
night
should look
here,
Oh
up.
my
We should look up
gosh.
how much.
and fucking smoke weed in that room, dude.
Smoke weed in the room.
Oh, man.
and talk to him
Weed every day.
or something. No, but seriously, we
Ouija board.
try to get in there and like. I know you don't want to communicate with him,
We
but
talked about
wanna-
like
oh, it's
we talked
creepy.
about one day even just going there and asking them like, hey, do you guys ever have weird shit happen?
yeah.
here?
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just see what that is.
You got. Oh man, you got to. You
So they're
got
gonna
to.
come out choking. You'd be like, "You're that damn devil that's been haunting me."
You look just like him.
For
That's
sure.
wild, dude. That's
Isn't that
so crazy?
crazy?
So where the house is, I don't know if you can really say it. It's like Detroit, right?
Centerline,
Like
yeah.
Centerline. So a lot of those houses though have a lot of history in them, don't they?
Oh,
they're,
yeah.
they're pretty what, like
they're-
20s, 30s
Oh,
built,
yeah,
or.
gotta be,
riots
yeah,
and
definitely
shit,
in the
yeah.
20s and 30s.
But
yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
then again, who knows if it was messed up until after the grandma had passed away, and he said he's
Yeah.
seen the grandma.
I know.
Who knows, man? I don't know.
And plus,
I don't know.
dude.
I don't know.
If the grandma was probably doing stuff inside of the house.
for sure
you know what
she
I mean?
was. For
It's
sure
probably
she
like
was.
an open portal
Yeah.
or multiple, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a fucking passageway from hell to another. You know what I mean?
That's
like
what
it's
I'm
like
saying, man.
interdimensional portal.
What the frick?
That'd
man?
be fucking awesome. But let's talk some more about it after these super chats.
Yeah,
Yep.
do that, man.
Soulless Honky said, "Just a soulless white guy. Love you guys. All right.
We love you too,
Ginger
bud.
Soulless Honky, awesome.
We love you, bud.
Diamond
How can you
Emo.
love someone with no soul?
I don't actually know. Yeah, because then
Oh.
Yeah.
They can't love you back,
Deep.
I don't think.
You can't love me back, but we can
Yeah,
love
you
them.
can love them.
Diamond Emo said, my female ended up laying 6 good eggs. My other, unfortunately, only had 20% fertility. How do you get fertility up? What were we talking about the other day? Very fertile environment, competitive nature. Like, you gotta play board games in your reptile room.
Good idea, you know.
hormones.
Invite Bobby Fischer over. Why not?
Yeah, you can do a bunch of different things like that. Eucalyptus.
Sure. Barry White.
Tim Vincent, 20 with the 20 bomb. Thank you so much,
Tim.
Timmy boy. I love you, Timson.
Thanks, Tim.
Timson. Tim Vincent. Let's just call him Timson.
Let's call him to Vinny.
Congratulations,
so
we've just changed your name.
I always find it weird when people have 2 first names.
Yeah, it is weird, right?
You're not supposed to trust him, but I trust this guy.
I'm gonna not touch this at all.
What if you had a first name for your last name, like Vincent, and you had a kid, you needed to name it? Would you name it something like a last name?
Oh, same name.
I think you should. Yeah,
I do
Vincent
Vincent
would be good.
I do Vincent.
Vinny Vincent. Vinny Vincent.
We call him Vinny.
And then his middle name,
Vince. Yeah.
Vinny Vincent.
Vinny Vincent. That'd be pretty good.
That's a good one.
I need to have a kid now. I want to do that.
I know, right? Tiffany Smallwood's back again. Hey, guys.
Smallwood. I love
so
that
much.
one. Smallwood. Thank you.
Thanks for coming back. Kelsey's back
you.
again. I watched all your videos. Noah, Brian, and Eric. Never missed one. Finally watching live. Love you guys.
Thank you so much, Kelsey.
Thank you, Kelsey. Welcome back, Draco. Happy Friday to you as well.
Happy Friday, brother.
Friday.
Tingle.
It's Friday.
The Tingle Monster. She got her first ball python on Monday.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Yes, congrats.
Yeah.
50 in no time. White Boy Prod. Love the George stories. He was a crazy guy. I'm a very spiritual person and believe in paranormal. Brian and Noah, how was the activity in your house been?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Honestly,
I've been pretty good lately.
I think it's been pretty fine.
Now that it's getting warmer out, the spirits are moving back out.
Yeah,
sort of like the spiders.
Like the virus.
It starts going away a little.
What an odd concept to think about that spirits are moving in and out like they do spiders.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Think about it.
Weird.
They're both creepy.
That's possible.
Yeah, honestly, like, there really hasn't been anything.
No,
That's good. That's good.
I've kind of shut a lot. Again, when I was younger, I used to be pretty, I would say, sensitive to this stuff.
Yeah.
I think I'm not as much these days. I think it's from quite frankly, from a standpoint that I don't want to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to experience it. I've experienced enough, and I don't want to experience anymore.
I mean, like, there's so much other experiences in life. Why try to put it in the negative, you know?
Yeah, well, it scares me. You know, I mean,
it is scary.
I've never had a paranormal experience, and I'd love to share my most scary one when you're ready for it. So I've never had a paranormal experience that I thought was good.
Yeah, same.
Right? You know how some people are like, oh, it was so nice. My grandma
You're
came,
comforted.
you know?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, those
never
are always
like
sort
that.
of like religion based too. I always feel
maybe,
like it's always somebody who are
yeah.
really thickly religious.
God visited me.
Yeah,
Kissed me on my forehead and said, "You're having a baby named Jesus."
Like you said, my grandma's watching over me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Mary's grandma always says that shit.
The only thing that happens in the house, and again, I don't know if this could literally just be 100% optical illusion bullshit, but I always feel like I see shit. Like in the side of my eye,
I see
like
shadows and stuff like that. But again, like
I don't,
you said,
dude, I
don't
do
know.
too in my house. I swear to God, like a lot. Not recently, but I have.
That's what I mean. It's like, is it something that everyone does and like because I literally see like people, but I don't know if that's just me losing my balls, my marbles. You know what I mean?
I think everyone does it.
What the fuck?
But sometimes for different reasons. You know,
and I also heard like when you look into the clouds and then you see like it forms into a shape and you're like, look, it's a Spartan mask.
Yes.
Like, what if it's your brain doing that? Like you see a little blob and then it just forms it into a person.
They say your mind is a terrible. I mean, because like it's like going out in the woods with your friends at night. You think you see shit, maybe you do, but it's like you know what I mean. You've ever done that? You go out young and you're like, oh, I fucking seen something, dude. Let's get out of here. And it's like. You psych yourself out, but at the same time, if you have that mindset of like, there's got to be a scientific explanation, then you shouldn't be able to psych yourself out and see some of this. Like, because we've all seen shit, I'm sure,
right,
paranormally, and you try to explain it and you can't. But
have you guys ever like seen like you looked into, like, for instance, you're in a dark room, a little bit of light, enough to see like maybe shadows and stuff like that, but you see like that corner, where it's like pitch black dark. For some reason you can see something there, always standing there.
Yeah.
Now, to me, that so that's probably happened to me twice ever, but like every time that's ever happened, that's always been the most surreal, creepy feelings in my. Is that feeling you're being watched?
Yes.
And you don't know, like what the fuck that is.
Yeah, you just click something in my head. So I again, it's like one of these things that we're talking about. I just kind of ignore shit now, just because it's kind of annoying to. Yeah, you freak yourself out. Yeah. Because like you said, no paranormal experiences is like a good experience. You get freaked out. Yeah. It's not necessarily a good feeling to everyone. And again, this could be explainable, but this is just some experience I have. When I'm sleeping, there's a corner in my bedroom that is a window, and I have a shade over it. And it's the same thing, dark corner. And again, I always feel like there's something watching me, but that's normal. But I always feel like I see that curtain get slapped, and then it just wiggles a little bit, and then I look, and like maybe it's like just shaking a little bit, but like, and it's never any other curtain or what was it, like the screen? Blinds, blinds. Never any other blinds.
So it's not like the vent or anything like that blowing it up or anything.
I know, that's what I try to look, but I mean,
the vent's in the middle of the window.
It doesn't like. Okay. It's just occasional thing that I just see out the corner of my eye. It's like one of those things where I don't know what it is. I'm not saying it's a ghost. I don't know what it is. It's just something that happens occasionally, and it happens to be the one corner where I feel like I'm being watched.
Right. Well, like the definition of paranormal is something you can't explain, right?
Right.
So,
I guess.
So that's something you can't explain. So like until something can actually be found out, you can't actually explain it. Then therefore, it is paranormal.
And the funny thing is that we've talked about putting cameras.
We have, yeah.
But the thing is,
but
I can't.
Do you want to see it?
That's
you know what I mean?
That's why I have.
Do you want to find out?
Do you want to? What if you do see some
It's
shit,
better that
man?
it's a question.
Yeah, dude, I
have like shit.
That's why I haven't done it.
Oh, that would freak me out.
I don't want proof.
It's like that show,
I don't want
Paranormal
proof.
Caught on Tape. Like I think like most of it's fake, but some of it.
Paranormal Activity or whatever.
No, it's called. It's a show on Sci-Fi called Paranormal Caught on Tape, and it's basically it's basically people submit their paranormal thing.
Oh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I want to see that.
Dude, that's good. Kind of shit I'd like to watch.
Some are, but we know
some are good.
Yeah, and we know like a YouTuber. I won't say his name, that we know is all fake, and he's on there quite often.
Okay.
So like, you know, like, and then the experts that like break it. It's one of those clip shows like, well, you know, we did see that coffee can fly. And that, you know, so it's like the experts talk about the clip. And and I know those clips are fake.
Right.
The ones that I know of.
So you hear him explain it, and it's just like, well, come on.
It can almost like ruin the whole show, though.
Yeah,
doesn't it though? Like, it's like knowing a little bit about that particular industry or whatever, just even knowing a little smidge of that, just like, fuck, man. But this would be so good otherwise.
But it makes it also kind of good because then there's some clips or some parts of the show that are like really convincing. Yeah. And you're just like, fuck.
No, I know.
How do you explain it?
Like, I know that one's fake, but how could that one be fake?
Right, yeah.
That's exactly the point.
Mike says, my brother who... Wait, let me restart that. My bad. My brother had a kid who went to his house one night to partake in drugs and invited us. I'm 100% certain if I wasn't there, he would have killed him. That's a crazy fucking story.
Wow,
that is.
Took a weird turn at the end.
Wow. That took a like really huge turn.
I was like,
you gotta watch people like that.
That was like M. Night Shyamalan. Right there.
Yeah. What a twist.
Holy fuck.
Is this a new one? Just saying in.
Mount Pleasant.
From Mount Pleasant.
Damn, son. Come on down.
Grew up in a haunted house in Lansing.
Oh.
It was intense. Can't afford to tell you the story through the chat right now.
There's actually I think it's called Marshall. I think Jay, we talked about this once, right? I think there's a town called Marshall in Michigan that's like supposed to be the most haunted town in Michigan.
Really?
But I think we might have Googled it. If you want to try again, Jay.
We went to the Cottonmouth
I think we tried.
on the way to Critchlow's Alligator.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah. So I think it was like Marshall,
Dude,
haunted,
guys.
like maybe haunted, Marshall haunted.
Dude, when all this stuff's over,
there's a really famous one in Alabama as well, but I'll mention it after we talk about this one.
I want to go see some haunted, even if we don't film it. Eric wants just go.
Eric wants some haunted stuff, and
dude, let's all go to a haunted thing together. Dude, once this shit opens up.
Hey, listen, I'm usually not too down for the haunted stuff. But I will go if you go with me to a roller coaster.
The house that inspired a novel.
Wait, look right here.
An old wooden one.
Get the camera on this guy right here.
No, I'll do it.
All right, no, it's got to be my choice on the roller coaster.
Oh,
dang, that's tough.
That's tough.
Dude,
your choice on the haunted whatever.
Oh god, I don't know if I can shake on that, dude. I see one at Universal Studios.
Shake it.
Yes.
Oh,
wow. Hey, wait a second. We don't shake hands these days.
Oh crap.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go wash your wash your hands.
Here, I'll text you a handshake.
Sharon Reeves. Hey. Thank you so much.
Sharon.
Thank you everyone. Thank you for the super chats. Patrick Williams. Hey guys.
I'm waving at the TV like that mattered.
Brian, do you have any advice for someone pairing ball pythons for the first time? Keep it up.
Well, just
make sure it's a male and female.
Yeah.
Seriously, though.
That's a good one.
Obviously,
I'm serious.
You're fucking right,
dude. Sexing is like 90% of it, man. Because people always tell me, "Oh, I've got this, I've got that,"
and it's always wrong.
We had a call today for someone that had two milk snakes together and they were fighting, and I was like, I bet they're two males.
Yeah, they're probably.
Yeah.
But so that and then obviously just get the weight right. You want females to be nice and plump when you're going into or while you're breeding. And obviously breeding seasons like November, December, all the way through about now or so. So you still have a few months before you want to start breeding.
Scales are important.
Kalea. Oh,
Kaylee. It's Kaylee, bro.
Yeah.
Kaylee.
Dude, you just said it's Kaylee, bro. Like, that's a common fucking name, dude.
No, I would have said Kalila. I'd have said K.
I thought it was Kalila. I read it and I said Kalila Saunderson.
Miss
Kalila.
Sanderson. Dude, honestly.
Simpson, I stick to my stuff.
The only reason I'm touchy about it is because I get that all the time because my name is Saunders and I hear Sanders all the damn time.
And this is why I don't read the fucking clips and fucking super chats. Hey, miss you guys. Can't wait to come back.
Thank you, man.
Thanks,
well, welcome back. Was George in the occult? Chris G asked. Sorry if that was already said and I missed it. I was late to the show.
No, we didn't talk about that, but I probably don't want to go too deep into that.
Okay.
But yes.
Okay. Whoa, I didn't know that.
So here's another thing. Do you feel like personally that George had kind of a messiah complex? Like potentially if you were to like later on in life maybe even start a cult.
I think he could have started a cult, but I don't think he was that guy.
Yeah, you don't think he was like a David Koresh kind of guy?
No, not at all. Not at all.
He kind of did cult things, though. He freaking made. He had a group of people to murder somebody.
Yeah, he clearly had a following.
Yeah, but like, not to ruin or say you didn't want to touch on it. Like, was he like a religious guy? Did he believe in the devil and heaven?
Well, I think he believed.
Hell
so let me just tell you really quick. First off, and this is pretty deep, so I'm going to just tell you it's very, very deep.
About to get profound.
If you can, sorry.
I 100% believe he believed in good and bad, the devil / God, 100%. And when he died, and this is still haunts me to this day, my friend Dwayne, the one,
my uncle Dwayne,
he found him hanging, and there was a sheet over his body hanging, and there was a loose leaf paper, and it had a saying on it that was in a symbol that said, I am not for this world. I'm going back to where I want or where I belong. Please don't take the sheet off. Just call the police. But it was in a shape of an interesting symbol, which I won't go into.
Oh, my God, man. I can't get this many chills in one episode.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
Wow.
That really was, I'm so sorry your friend found it. That's terrible.
Regardless of your perspective. It just seemed like that's so.
But even his finishing act in life was a mystery because he did this cryptic message. Yeah. And by the way, not depressed, not anxious, don't know what the fuck is. I was there. They said he died about 2 a.m. I was there at 11 o'clock at night, along with all our other friends. His girlfriend, who I was telling you about earlier, was there until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. 100% fine, no arguments, no talk, gone. In the morning, I mean, like nothing. Nothing.
Well, like based on what you're saying, if he died at 2 o'clock, that was like between the hour she left and the time he died. Like that was, he just basically she left and he just started setting up.
Exactly, absolutely, 100%.
Like holy fuck.
With no indication, no nothing. I mean, like, and I know people say like, oh, you would never think someone would kill himself, but literally, if you asked me at that time in my life, who's the least likely person, it would have been him. You know, and then this weird cryptic message that still to this day, what does that mean? You know, what does that mean? You know, and so no, he did. You know, I witnessed some things that I don't want to talk about that were very occult.
Right.
I mean, and again, I don't want to talk about it because I just don't want people to think that I even was witness to this.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Not that I was ever involved. I was never involved in any occult stuff. I was never involved in any of this, but I witnessed some things that were probably more sensational than what I've already talked about.
Right. I mean, there's just some things that should be left under your hat.
Yeah, some ritualistic things that were wild. So I mean, and that's one of the reasons why I would never want to. I mean, it scares me to this day. You know, some of the things that I've seen, and you know, I mean,
that's why you'd never want to even contact him. You know,
no.
Exactly.
If he could be contacted,
because
it would not be a good thing.
Think about this. This is even backs it up furthermore why we wouldn't want to contact him. On his fucking message, it says, I'm going back to where I belong. And when you're doing the Ouija board, or whatever kind of thing, you're dragging them back here.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
right.
you know what I mean? Hey, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Are you here? And then it's like maybe they get like a bat signal in spiritual hell or whatever.
Right,
and then maybe it drags them there forcefully. Right, and then they're like, "Fuck, I don't want to go back to Earth." And then they're here, and then if you don't do the proper goodbye, and then they're stuck there, and they're like, "You fucker brought me to Earth, and you trapped me here. I'm gonna fuck your whole life up." Like, and then you get a priest, and then they send it back home, and they're like, maybe that's their goal.
The last thing you want is a vindictive ghost. That's
especially
last thing you want, especially George.
That might have been a demon. Yeah. You know,
that's because
I really do. If I were to be completely honest, I believe there were some demonic issues with him.
It sounds like through stories I've heard.
For sure.
Yeah.
Through Uncle Dwayne and stuff.
Whether there was an influence with his grandma who was a demon, or he was part demon, or I don't know what I believe. I don't know even what it is.
So I do have to ask one question before we move on at this point. So earlier in this particular story about George, you had mentioned black magic and white magic. Now, like other than your typical layman's versions of what you could notice on like games and Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. What would you define as black magic and white magic?
Well, so what I would define, at least in this particular case is that George, his grandmother, were occultists that believed in serving Satan.
Okay.
And
Satanist.
Satanist, right. Where his other grandma that lived down the street, she was about magic as well, but positive good not God, God, because she wasn't a God person,
kind of like a Wiccan thing,
right? Where
my friend's mom was like that,
mother
cards
nature,
and
right?
Deal,
she believed that she was there to fight the evils of the world. Through incantations.
That's so interesting because this is like a whole different world right there.
Yeah, it's definitely really it's interesting that it could be in one family. I mean, it was almost like a movie in one family. But can I tell a story? You've heard the story.
Please,
tell a story
about.
Dude,
I love
this is when I was friends with George. He was alive. And I worked at. My first job was a pet shop, so I was probably 15 years old, maybe 16 at the most, something on that lines. And I used to work from 10 in the morning till 6 o'clock. It was my shift at the pet shop, right? So I worked with a guy named Dennis Rutowski, and his mom, we used to always joke around and say that she had the bat line to God because she was like super, not only was she super religious, God-wise, very biblical, everything, but she also was kind of like, she was a psychic as well. So she would predict things. She would, all these types of things. And we always said that she was a wonderful lady, the whole family was wonderful. Yeah. But anyways, so one night, I lived in the basement of my mom's house. I had a snake room in the basement, and then I had my bedroom was in the basement. Weirdly enough, I don't know why my stepdad did this when I moved downstairs, but he built the room at the opposite end from where the stairs were. So you'd have to go down the stairs, go across the basement into my room, okay? And I had a lot of weird experiences growing up in my basement. Yeah. Lots of weird things happened in that basement. Nothing crazy, but certainly paranormal-ish for kids.
You told me some crazy stuff.
Yeah, there was some pretty crazy stuff, but this particular kid was the most crazy. So again, 15, 16 years old. It's like, it started about 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was, just literally in my room or no, I take that back. Let me back up. So my room wasn't very big, so there was a lazy boy chair right outside my door, and I still to this day have a hard time falling asleep. So I used to sit in that chair, and my music was there. I couldn't fit my stereo in my room, so I would sit in that chair, listen to music, and I'd fall asleep, and then I'd wake up and I would go into my room. That's almost every night. So it's about 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm sitting in the chair, I'm falling asleep, get woken up like that, with like this black mass in my face. Now you got to remember, it's dark out, right? It's dark in this room. I'm in the main part of the basement, so I get woken up like this, and then it flutters away almost like a bat, like. So immediately I'm thinking, I get up, obviously startled out of my mind. I run in my room, I slam the door, and immediately I start trying to justify what happened. Okay, I must have been dreaming. I was coming out of a dream, and blah 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 blah. So and again, this is before cell phones, obviously there's no way to contact anybody. My mom and stepdad were the only people that lived at home at the time. My brother and sister had already moved out. Yeah. And so within like a minute or two, all of a sudden I start hearing banging on the outside of my walls of the room.
Oh,
like literally like knocking,
like in the house or outside the house?
In the bedroom basement.
In the basement, the bedroom walls are
around the thing. And we're talking like all over, like crush, boom, 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 boom. And weirdly enough, I literally had a crucifix that was hanging on my door because I was so afraid of the basement and stuff like that. Damn. And so I hear this banging, banging, banging. And so again, this is the part that makes this experience so weird, is it goes on for about 3 hours. Okay. And so I'm just huddled in bed, freaking out. I can't open the door and run across the basement to the stairs.
It's a fucking far run.
Yeah. I mean, you feel like you're going to die, And so my mom wakes up in the morning to go to work, and I hear her get up. I hear, the water running and stuff like that. And so I scream. I'm like, Mom! She turns on the light. She walks down the stairs. I then open my door, run to her. And I tell her this story. I'm sure she's thinking I'm just whatever. She's like, oh, it's okay. So I go upstairs, and I literally sleep on the couch, because I'm like tired. I've got to work at 10, so on like that. So I go to sleep. She goes to work. My dad, my stepdad wakes up. I didn't even see him, but he goes to work. I go into the pet vendor, my pet shop. Mm-hmm. Dennis comes up to me, and he goes, dude, are you okay? And I go, why? She goes, my mom woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning and prayed for you all night. She said you were under attack. Then to make it even more crazy, I go home that night, and at dinner, my dad is mad at me. He goes, man, I was up half the night with all the noise you were causing down there. You got to stop doing that. So at that point, it was like,
oh, I would have lost my mind.
It's not like you're just hearing it. Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah, my dad heard it. Especially the psychic chick stays up and prays for me all night.
That's the real crazy part.
So,
honestly, at that point, I would have completely believed in her power. I would just every time something like that would happen with me, I would just call her immediately.
Well, doesn't that kind of give you a little scare, because don't you guys ever have little gut instincts, weird feelings about things?
Sure.
Maybe she's just really in touch with hers.
Sure.
and just
dude, because I definitely think there are real, what do they call them, mediums or sensitives or whatever.
Yeah.
Some of them are full of shit, but
sure.
Oh yeah,
there's others that I believe in that
real
shit.
Ones, though,
100%, man. That is so scary, Brian.
Yeah, so I've had tons of those little weird experiences.
Weird.
That was
crazy.
That one was one that was corroborated by other outside sources. And that's what made that, I think, probably the most significant paranormal.
So was this at the same time? Did you know George at that time?
This was, I was hanging out almost every night. I think probably earlier that night I was at George's house. You know, so who knows if George
What if he's just planting these little demons in you guys, man? Getting those guys to go bash his brother's head in and
imagine
steal
that.
a car.
You know how you were saying George like to fuck with people, and if he was truly a spiritual being, what if he could? Have you ever heard of like astral projection?
Right.
What if he could like astral project in a way to fuck with people while he's not there?
I had never thought about this, but there was a book that that we were both reading at the time that talked about astral projection.
Yeah,
it was around the same time because I was really trying to do astral projection.
I've done it.
No, is that where you ever done it?
You told me that.
Full discretion, the only time I've ever heard about this was in the movie Insidious, like when they had done that part.
Yeah, so is this...
That was literally the only time I've ever heard about this. So honestly, like before you guys even brought this up, I'd always thought that was just a term they brought up in that thing.
No, there's books and shit on it.
I swear I've fucking done it, dude.
Oh, no, I for sure have,
Well, the thing
I have notes and stuff because the day I did it and the day I woke up and like got the next morning, I wrote everything down into my notepad.
Man, you guys are in touch with your minds a lot better than I am.
I think the problem with astral projection, because like I said, there was this whole book that I was reading about it way back in the day. It is dangerous because you can get lost.
You can lose your soul.
Yeah, you can lose yourself and not be able to come
clear it
back,
up. It's where an example, you're meditating and your spirit can almost leave your body behind, and you can.
I can explain.
It's out of body experience, right?
Dude.
Like you almost walk away from your body spiritually or whatever.
This is insane, by the way.
I'll explain.
No, a lot of the kids were into that shit back. I've read a few things, and you know,
this is my experience and how I did it. So what we read was. Oh, there's plenty of different ways to do it, but one of the ways that eventually I tried and worked for me was laying down in your bed, okay? And let's say this is my bed, all right? You know, you have to lay vertically, all right? Lay completely still. And I use the trick of having my leg hang off the bed, my right leg hang off the side of the bed, okay? So dangling. It's not touching the ground. It's floating in the air. It's dangling. But you also have to be laying head up, laying down, and lay completely still. And I'm saying you cannot move a finger. If you move a finger like this, if you're laying down and you go like this, you have to restart.
Yeah. Oh,
you can't do anything. So what starts to happen, and with me, is you'll lay down and then your body starts to tingle. All right, it starts to tingle a lot, and your brain is telling you move. It's almost like your brain's like, can I still move? Like, please move your finger, move your arm. But you're fighting the will to move. And then also at the same time, you're trying to focus on falling out of your body. You're trying to focus on falling out of your body. And you kind of get the sensation because your leg's hanging off the bed. So you kind of feel like you're falling a little bit once you start to get more of the sensation of like tingling across your whole body. And you get just lucky because we've tried it so many times, and eventually literally all my friends in my friend group at the time, we did it, and we would tell our stories and where we traveled. But eventually you would just rip out, and you would just feel like you just come out of your body, and then all of a sudden you're just looking at yourself in your bed, and then you're just like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not even in my body, but I'm looking at my body. And then you can just woof, and then you're out, and then you're in the street, and then you can just go wherever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
And you're just flying, dude.
It's
so
it's not
weird.
like you have to open a door and walk through a door. No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Wow.
And we have
that's like, insane to me. That's crazy.
Because a lot of like me and like a lot of the kids too, like we're into meditation and doing this kind of stuff, and it's really weird, like emptying your head and not thinking about anything. You know what I mean? And like then you like personally, I would, instead of thinking about anything, my whole focus was not moving and literally trying to rip myself out of myself. Yeah. No, there's a lot. You should watch some video. There's a lot of shit about that. Yeah,
man.
For sure.
Honestly, after hearing all that, I don't think I want to watch videos. Yeah. I think I'm safe in my bubble.
It's scary, dude.
I don't
because that is horrifying to me. To think that
I'm
you
too
could
old for that
do
shit
that.
now.
Listen to this.
I'm not.
when we were doing it, we read this thing, and it was something like these beings, they were called, like these black masses that would basically kill your soul. So they're hiding in the astral world is what we read, and we're like, what the fuck does that even mean, right? I remember going to the mall, Lakeside Mall, astral projection, super weird, right? This is the first time I did it. I went to Lakeside for some reason because I was...
That's Jordan's in there.
Well, I was going to say the dude was trying to see he was ganking some shit.
our friend group, we hung out a lot around there.
So yeah. Like, navigate
exactly.
It
was
cruising
on my mind.
Where it was.
Exactly. This
Damn,
is
you were
where
spiritually cruising chicks at the mall.
So,
yeah.
So we were, I mean, kind of. I was in the mall, and I just remember... seeing in where the bathrooms are by the food court in Lakeside. You know where I'm talking about? Have you ever been inside Lakeside?
It's been a long... That's closed down now for a while, right?
I have, but...
Lakeside?
Well, just a virus.
So there's a...
Lakeside. I was thinking of, what is it called? Somerset.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
No, Somerset's been open, but they're closed because of Corona as well.
Yeah. Then I don't even know what I'm thinking about.
I don't know.
Honestly, I think you might have been to Lakeside. You just don't remember.
No, I've been to Lakeside. I've been to Lakeside.
So there's a hallway like that leads to the bathrooms over here. And I remember I was floating there, and then there was like this just so pitch black there. But it was like dragging me towards it. Like I couldn't snap out of it. And then I realized, I thought to myself, oh, fuck, I read about the black masses. And then I fought away, and then I ripped myself away and, like, got out of there. But I wonder if, like, that's how you die, is...
You just fade into the black.
Because you go into it, and then it kills you, and then your human form doesn't have a soul anymore, so it just
your body, you leave your body behind.
Kind of like
damn, that shit's crazy, man.
At least in that movie Insidious, they kind of made it into like a coma, like like you got
like a coma. Yeah, so exactly.
So I wonder if like if it's quite to that level, or if it's maybe not even like for instance like you ever, I don't know, even though you meet a person, right, and the person doesn't I don't know, they don't seem right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like almost like they're so basic and generic that it's like incredibly boring and blah blah, blah. And again, I don't mean to be funny. I just mean to say like you just every now and then you'll meet a person that's just like that.
Yeah.
I always sort of wonder like what could have made a person to be like this, and I wonder if this has a lot to do with that. Like, is this one of those people who are just like almost like a zombie wandering the world?
What do they call them? Like a vampire? They just suck the life right out of you.
I mean? Yeah,
hey Jay,
exactly.
can you pull up is astral projection real?
It is.
I just want to see what it says.
I'm interested to because this is basically
dangerous, really scary.
Yeah,
it's real. I've done that shit. I don't care what
anyone
says.
Just there's no scientific evidence that there's a consciousness or a soul which separates from the normal neural activity, or one that can. Well, it's regardless.
That's not 100% true, because technically that's what a coma is your
they said fucking aliens aren't real. Look at them. The government just told us fucking aliens are real.
But dude, and it's not even just me. My whole friend group did this.
Oh, no, I knew multiple.
Yeah,
no, I know.
And then we'd share our stories like, dude, I was here. And then we'd all have very similar experiences with the way we felt, and with the way we moved, and with the way we came out of ourselves.
Yeah.
We all shared the same experiences, similar experiences, not the same, similar experiences. And I don't know, it's what we did.
So freaking crazy, though.
I can kind of see where the whole science plays into it, though. Like, science is something you can truly measure, like physically measure, and when you can't measure something, that, like in science can't explain it.
Yeah.
Right.
If science can't explain it, then by our human laws, it's not real, even though we have religion, things like that.
I mean, we can't even...
No offense to anybody who is religious. It's just a fact of the matter. We will believe in the spiritual world when it comes to our religion, but we won't in...
You know what? You know what one of my favorite movie lines ever was? It was in the movie Contact. Have you ever seen Contact?
I love that movie.
I love that movie.
No,
Matthew McConaughey, Jodie Foster.
Yes.
And,
oh my God. It was actually the first one I
I've
ever seen Jodie Foster.
And he's a preacher, but he's a scientist. You know,
good one too.
And a good one too. And she's, of course, she was supposed to be starting SETI. You know, like that was her thing. Like, she was a SETI chick, search for extraterrestrial life, intelligence. And so she's talking to him, and he's talking about God, and he's I'm a man of the cloth, but I'm also a scientist, and she's like, well, I just don't understand because I can't wrap my head around you believing in God when there's no proof that God exists. And his response is, Bruce, do you love Jessica?
Yeah, of course.
Prove it.
I shouldn't have to.
Damn, dude, no. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
You can't see love. You can't hold love in your hands. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Shouldn't have to prove my problem.
It's a feeling. Oh, yeah.
But, my point is.
No, I know.
We believe in love, but we can't prove love.
Yes. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Just that was a very profound part about it. It was a profound part.
You just kind of blew my mind.
Really,
like,
honestly, like I've heard something similar to that actually. Yeah. Like that's not why I answered the way I answered. I just to the point of like that seems to be the sort of like that's one of those things. It's just like like you can't be so black and white about this. Like we're not so nuanced like this. Humans. Life is not so nuanced. We can't truly believe that it's just like, oh, we just exist like this, and there's nothing beyond this. Yeah,
well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just can't. It's really hard to get behind that. Man.
It's really hard to really because there's so much evidence that you can't prove. There's so much stuff that.
Well,
that's
the problem. As a guy that I believe in science, I'm a big science guy.
Oh, of course, me too.
But like you said, science is tough because science believes that it's not true until you can prove it. But yet we prove things all the time.
Yeah, that's funny.
So yesterday it wasn't proven, today it's proven. That doesn't mean yesterday it wasn't real.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yes. Well, just like he said, like a year ago, aliens weren't real. By science standards, we had no proof of aliens. Well,
and they're getting around it. They're saying UFOs, right? Because didn't they just release a bunch of videos
that were not UFOs anymore? What are they called?
Jay, Jay, what is it called?
There's a new word for it.
They got a new word for it.
No, that's why you never hear about them anymore.
What is UFOs like called? UFO. New term is
UAV.
Craps. Oh, I see craps.
Shut up.
Oh, we should call them craps.
Oh, that's in 2011.
Okay, all right.
Dude, I seen the mofos, so they're for sure real.
That makes sense.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Dude, I've seen them. I've seen it.
That's wild.
Seen them with Cousin Brad. Told you guys.
Yeah.
But
I remember.
Like you were saying about earlier, you go through your head and you're like, no, it was something else.
Right.
It was effing aliens, dude.
Dude.
It was something. It was something.
Aliens.
Yeah. It was something I couldn't explain. You know what I mean?
Well, it's either aliens or it's our military. Well, this
testing
is
something.
This is the tough thing. This is the one part. This is the scientist coming out of me. I believe in aliens, by the way, but
100%.
The scientists will come out of me this way. We found out about the stealth bomber.
Yeah.
In the Iraqi war, right?
Yes.
Right. That was developed in the 50s.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Right.
So think about the fact that from the 50s till the early 2000s, what have we done in 50 years?
Oh, dude, what's out there now that we have no clue about? Yeah.
Well, the 70 from now, but when the stealth bomber went from a black op.
Yeah. Right. Because the stealth bomber is regularly known now, but those days no one knew.
Yeah, before the Iraqi war, they were like, oh, there's no such thing as a stealth bomber.
Yeah, you can't see it. You can't get it on radar. You can't. You don't even hear it probably.
And that's actually true. Like I've never actually. So I've seen them take off. I've never actually seen one in the air. Obviously,
because you don't because of the high altitude, right?
You haven't at the air show.
I've seen them take off. I've never seen them.
Oh, don't even get me started about an air show. I want to. We got the air shows
here every year.
Yeah, I'm going to this year.
Dude,
never been. Yeah.
They fly over like.
I fucking love I love jets, dude.
Literally,
I love planes.
Stealth bombers come over top.
No shit.
Yeah, that's cool. It covers up the whole sky.
I want to see an F-22 Raptor.
Did you guys hear the Blue Angels the other day?
No, I didn't. Oh man, I wish I would have seen them. Everyone got such good pictures. They had the A-10 Warthogs. They had the Blue Angels flying out there.
Warthogs, man. I have a wonderful relationship with those.
Dude, I bet.
Oh my gosh.
I want to call one in. Yeah.
Oh man, those things are sweet.
We got a deer up here 50 yards in front of me. Coming heavy.
Now it's hamburger.
Yeah, right. No, they're
Dude, have you
so
guys
cool.
actually seen that? I'm sorry not to trail off, but have you guys seen that like the actual like machine guns on these things?
No.
The bullets are like this.
Oh
really?
God. Dude, when that thing goes,
it's so cool.
I mean, it goes. levels.
It sounds like a chainsaw in the air. Like it's hard to explain. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then it's like,
but it goes through so many rounds in such a short amount of time, and they're huge.
How does
rounds.
it do to that so fast?
I think it's just the rotating. It's a minigun, right?
Yeah,
it's a rotating barrel, so they can just very high rate.
It's another great.
That's crazy.
Was it what was the Vietnam movie?
Platoon.
Apocalypse Now?
No. The one that's like it's like
that was a good movie.
Dang it, man!
Great movie.
Full Metal Jacket.
Great
movie. Oh my God. My favorite movie.
I love you a long time, honey.
Another favorite line of mine is the guys in the helicopter just mowing down kids and women. And the guy goes, how can you do that? He goes, you just don't have to lead them so far.
Yes. Oh my God! I literally heard the same joke so many times. I'm not gonna lie. So like overseas, like there's obviously not just one country flying a lot of the helicopters. You had a couple different like representatives. So we had Australian pilots, we've had like English pilots, and I've had American pilots. And I swear to God, I had an Australian pilot with an actual like round table Gatling gun on the thing. Make that same fucking joke. He turns around and he goes, I know we're just test firing. Just remember, fellas, you don't have to lead them so far. And I was like, this is a guy I want to go have drinks with.
Man,
like
here. I know.
Sure.
I know. Isn't it funny to think about? Because I'm always like, with my guns, I'll start a revolution. They come to my door. They just fly over, beep, beep, and then done. You know what I mean? Like, you're dead. You're dead.
How did people get into the state building with guns?
I know, dude.
A couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah. She was saying, I don't know if it's because they're not.
You don't know about this?
No, what happened?
Are you talking about here in Michigan?
Yeah, in Michigan, Lansing.
I thought because you can legally, because they even said it and people were mad that if they show up this time, if you're brandishing a firearm, then you'll be arrested. Brandishing a firearm, even without this going on, is illegal.
Right.
You know, that means holding it in a
that means
defensive.
It's out of its holster. It is being.
Yeah,
like,
like
you can even set it on the table is considered brandishing.
Dude, the
if
crazy
it's in the
part,
holster, it's
which
not brandishing.
I wouldn't do it this time of day, even though I like freedom in America and all that. But you can walk around with a sling and have the rifle on your back.
If
or
the
in
barrel's
front,
pointed down or on your back,
it
usually
can't
a lot
be
of times
loaded.
You actually technically walk around the city.
Oh
right
yeah.
now
Oh, I could go out. I could go to McDonald's.
That's actually completely legal.
With a big rifle. There was a guy the other day had an effing bazooka. Did you see that?
That's a little different. That's a little different.
I mean, it wasn't loaded. Wasn't loaded.
That's a little different.
But no, it is crazy. But
that boy took that Second Amendment, took it a lot farther than I did.
I didn't think you could get into the state building with guns, though. I don't know. I don't know, man.
This rapper back 2017, he got arrested because he had a fucking bazooka and posted a picture on IG.
Oh,
he had like a bazooka and like
dude,
a bunch
who
of
was
money.
it? Yeah, dude, my friend was just showing me. Pull it up. It's City Morgue, right?
No, there might have been a different one. Dude,
guy,
I'm sure
that guy got in trouble.
That
guy got in trouble because he had a bazooka and the FBI came after him.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Right here?
No, see, like there's so many. That's Blueface. No, that's not that one.
Red face, blue face?
It's this guy? Yeah, it's that guy. It's literally that guy.
Oh my God!
I've seen this one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's from my Uncle
That
Kumar.
dude legit had an RPG.
I mean, that is a projectile in the front of that bazooka, right?
He's got it backwards.
It's the one on the left.
Backwards.
He's got that one backwards.
It's the one on the left. I don't know what the other picture is. The one on the right. That's not the same guy. But
dude,
the one with the real RPG.
But usually you can tell, like, because the writing's usually right here on these things. So like usually it says on there like exactly how, because there's a like little lever. It comes down, it goes on top of your shoulder, and you hold it out like that, right? And so
have you shot
one?
Dude,
that's crazy.
Well, it's part of military, man. This is part of shit you do.
That's awesome.
But that's how it works. And there's literally, I'm talking about picture type instructions on that,
they
how
don't
to hold it.
Oh no,
they
you
want
can
you to point it the right way.
No, I can pick it up and shoot it myself.
You're even supposed to scream out. You're like, before you shoot, you're supposed to scream out, back blast area clear. Because you can't stand behind somebody that's shooting that thing.
It'll kill him, right?
Fuck him up.
Will it kill him?
Oh yeah, could very well. But like usually it's just an injury or something like that. But yeah, like so you have to scream that out.
Never seen that in the movies. I'm screaming that out. Damn it.
Yeah,
I know.
I feel like they have
inaccurate bullshit.
Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember True Lies when he blasts a guy out of the truck out on the road and they fucking run him over?
Yeah, great one. Oh my god,
dude! Sharon Reeves hit us again.
Thank
Hello,
you
guys.
so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Let's
much.
see what else we got going on here before we kind of wrap it up. We've been going here for a minute, so let's take a couple super chats and then I don't know. See where it takes us. Katie, not related, but I got my poster today.
Dude, it's a dope
sweet.
poster. Sweet.
Thank you, Katie.
Awesome, yeah.
I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Noah
for the
took all
support.
those pictures, by the way.
I did. Every
Yeah.
single one, and I photoshopped them all
He
together.
photoshopped them.
All me.
Yeah.
Cough, cough,
Yep.
cough,
All
cough.
me.
Yeah.
Definitely
It was
not
my
Jay.
idea.
Jay doesn't have a microphone tonight, so he's saying
Yeah, he cannot defend himself. It's the best.
Emily, back again. Are we ever
Got
going to
him.
see Jessica and Bruce personal reptiles on the vlog?
Yeah,
we'd
come
love that.
on.
We'd love
You
that. When
guys
the
so
corona's over, if they would allow us, we'd love to.
It'll be some time, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's a lot going on in our own home, in our own household, and we're trying to we're actually trying to move up closer to here
Yeah,
because
that'd
we
be
live
great.
so far.
Yeah.
So like that, a lot of that sort of like falling
Yeah.
into that right now. So
Not to mention the pit of slaves they have over there. You know, they like
Don't
like,
talk about him, Dad.
Yeah.
What the fuck? We're live.
He's
I've
like,
seen
he's
him.
like Buffalo Bill. He
really
Buffalo
is.
Bill.
He really is.
Put the potion lotion on this.
Anyways, Katie, please talk about mountain monsters. Maybe in the next episode. I guess she's talking about Bigfoot and stuff.
Like Bigfoot and
mountain
Yeti and all
monsters.
that?
There's
Yeah, like with
actually
the
a-
Yeti.
there's
We
actually-
can't
my
talk
God.
about it
Yeah,
now.
there's actually a show
Don't
called
get me
Mountain
started on
Monsters.
it.
Exactly. We can't get started because we go for another hour.
Like honestly, because me and him would argue because
Exactly.
I think Bigfoot is actually a lie, but Yetis are real.
Ooh.
So
Wow.
And that makes
we will
sense.
talk
That-
about
that
the
makes
Well,
sense.
well,
We should
how
talk
about
about
this?
that. Yeah, let's talk
How
about
about
it.
this? What
For
do you
next
want to
week,
do?
let's do a 3
Do you
hour
want
one.
to do
Fuck
next?
it.
Fuck
Yeah,
it.
next
Why not?
week
Let's
I'm
talk
gonna get
about
all
this.
the
No,
facts.
yeah.
I'm gonna
No,
have
you-
shit laid
this is
out.
what I'm
here.
Seriously, no.
Yeah.
I will
This is
have
what I'm
a
saying.
fucking poster board, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's what I'm
with that
saying.
shit.
Let's do mountain Yeti, whatever the hell she just said. Yeti,
yeah,
freaking
Dude,
Bigfoot.
swamp for sure.
Swamp
Oh, what
baby.
are they?
Swamp Thing? Oh,
Yeah,
Swamp
Swamp
Ape.
Ape.
Good one.
Hey, how
Yeah,
about
Swamp
Swamp
Ape.
Ape?
Yeah, Swamp
Yeah,
Ape,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, how about this? What if we all choose like our favorite?
Oh
And-
my
Oh, Yeti.
God.
And
I'll
then-
totally take a Yeti.
Yeah, Yeti
And
is
then
the most.
Yeti's
Yeti is
Yeti's
the best.
supreme.
Yeah, dude, Yeti,
Yeti is
always.
supreme.
Yeah.
Because
I
that's the
always
one.
got
Have
Yeti.
you? I
It's
don't.
got
We'll
way
talk
more
about it next
information.
week, and I'd love to be
Okay.
involved. This.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love.
Let's
yeah.
talk about the Russians that got killed by the Yeti.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, dude, I
talk
just
about
actually
all
Don't
listened
even
to a
get me
podcast on this.
started.
Yes.
The
That
college
is-
kids
We'll
that
talk
got
about
killed
this.
by the Yeti. We'll
That
talk next
shit
week.
is crazy.
We'll
That
talk
shit's
next week
crazy.
about it.
All right,
That shit's
guys.
crazy.
That would be a good one.
So make sure you guys. All right. So if we gotta know if you guys like this. All right. So right now the podcast has 220 likes. Let's get 400 likes. We got about 600
Come on,
people right here.
400.
Yeah.
It's not even 200. So let's smash 400 likes real quick, and
Yeah.
then, we'll know that you guys
400.
want it. all
Yeah.
right?
Zero.
Yeah.
If we get 400, we'll do the Yeti.
Mike hit us again. You guys were talking about George saying he could kill you on my last super chat. Reminding me of that kid. He was like about that stuff. I remember-
Damn.
He's about that life. That's what he's
The
Exactly.
kid he was
Yeah.
talking about in the last
He
one about
donated
his.
before. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
With
I
Yep.
see. I get it.
Exactly. Okay,
they,
makes
you know,
sense.
the puzzle.
You gotta
started to
watch for
connect.
those
I get it.
effing
I get
kids
it.
like that.
I know,
Yeah.
dude. Kids will just sneak up and just kill you these
Did you know
days.
that? Did you know that? I told Noah this just recently. Lori's had a friend.
Oh, yeah.
That was a high school.
Oh,
she
my.
went to our high school together,
Crazy.
and she used to hang out there. Lived half mile from where I grew up, and the kid, there was a 14-year-old girl ran away, and they found her head in the freezer.
Oh my God.
Yep.
It's crazy, right?
Oh my God.
And it was the house
back
that
up,
she-
back up.
So-
freezer where?
In his basement, the same house that Lori used to hang out at. This kid killed this girl, hacks out her head off, and they found her head in the freezer.
Oh,
She was a
my
runaway.
God.
Oh my
Same
God.
house. Yep, same house.
Oh my
How crazy
God.
is that?
Like, how old was Lori in this?
She was like, I mean, it was before, I
Teenager.
think 16, 17. Yeah.
So kids, you hear that? You better not run away from your parents.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
y'all.
Get your fucking head chopped
Jay,
off,
why don't
bitch.
you?
Y'all went through some dark shit
can
when
we
y'all were
see it?
16, 17
Jay,
years
Jay,
old.
can you just put up Warren,
No,
Warren kid.
Not Warren.
Yeah, like Warren,
W-A-R-R-E-N.
yeah, R-R-E-N.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
the city of
Warren.
Warren.
I heard-
Kid cuts head off
That's
of girl
Oh,
in the
God.
90s or something like that.
Jesus. That's gonna FBI.
Yeah, I don't know
loving
where. I
this
just seen
Using the word
Wait a second.
decapitate
no,
might
no,
help.
Wait, what
The images?
just happened there?
I got
This guy right here. This guy right. I think it's this guy right here to the left.
No way.
Right there to the left. That's the guy that Laura used to hang out
my
with. Yep.
God.
Yep. Oh, this is his new picture.
Dude, look at the dangly earring.
That's how he used to be, right
That's
there.
what. That's how
Wow.
he was when Lori hung out.
And that is
Yep.
totally something Mom would hang out with too.
Yeah.
Dude,
there you
Lauren's
long
hanging out with
hair.
the bad seeds. Why do you see
Dude, she
Elizabeth
was,
Warren?
dude.
That's weird. Why was there a picture of Elizabeth Warren? It was him and Elizabeth Warren.
He was like, yeah, that escalated really quickly.
Yeah.
Like,
There's a bunch of them too.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Oh god!
like head chopped off, and Warren for some reason.
Yeah,
got
I know.
Here.
I don't know. There must be some story linked. Who knows?
All
Who knows?
right.
Who knows?
Head no.
Yeah.
Country Bumpkin, I just want to say hello to all. I am still working on my resume, but can't wait to see you guys when the Reptarium opens back up. Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Well, thank you for tuning back in. You as you do always. We really appreciate all the consistent support. Chris G hits us again. Thank you so much. Don't have much here, but here's a little of something for the podcast. I love you guys so much, and especially the podcast.
Thank
They
you.
keep
Holler,
me
Chris.
sane these days.
Holler, Chris
Thank you
G.
so much. I really
you so
appreciate
much.
that. And then also Michael Wall, mad respect for Brian sharing his past.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
Dude, this is actually really cool.
Dude, like
this
I
is
don't want to
definitely
go to
cool.
sleep tonight. I'm
I know.
effing scared.
That's the best part.
I'm going to send them your way tonight.
No, don't, dude. No.
He's literally going to contact George now just so he can
Yeah.
come here directly.
He won't stop eating barbecue pork rinds. I don't know. Yeah.
He's got a dog that's part beaver too.
Mary, did you hear something? Oh, well.
Jeffrey Taylor, would you ever get an earless monitor lizards?
Oh, they're
P.S.
cool.
Your passion is contagious. Thank you
Yeah.
for doing what you do. A lot of y'all are the
They're
best.
super cool. Though, but have you checked
He
out
said a
those
lot.
earless monitors
For a
at
minute
all?
there, I was like,
No,
really? Just a
no.
lot?
The earless
No, I've
monitors,
never-
all.
they're really
Yeah.
cool. They're really aquatic. They're mainly an aquatic.
super
monitor.
Oh,
Whoa.
wow. I have seen those. Those are really
Yeah.
cool.
They're mainly like an aquatic monitor.
Let's
I don't
get
even
one.
know. I'll be honest. I don't even know why they're called monitors. They're
Yeah, they
they
don't
don't
seem
like
They-
a monitor
no,
at
they-
all.
They look like they're close to a beaded lizard, right?
They look like they're
Yeah, they actually
an
agree with you
axolotl, like a
Yeah.
like a
Yeah, I mean,
strange
I think
axolotl.
Yeah.
they're more
I think
Yeah.
more like a beaded, like he said.
Right?
Yeah,
Right?
like a
Yeah, but-
aquatic beaded.
Well,
Yeah,
but
man.
beadeds are desert. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Exactly.
Those,
They're
those
more
look
like a
super
caiman
tropical.
lizard. More like a caiman.
Oh,
lizard.
Right.
okay.
Yeah. I would say
That's
God,
honestly
how
what I was
rare
sort
are
of thinking when you
those?
said that first.
But I don't know why they call them monitors, to be honest with you.
And then Kalila
Kalili.
Sanderson
Oh, that's cool.
is
Kayla.
back in. I'm the one that brought the cases of water
yeah,
for the
that's
anniversary
right.
party.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
yeah.
thanks, Kayla.
Thank
Yeah,
you
I
so
remember
much
that.
for keeping
Yeah.
us hydrated. We
I sure
appreciate
hope
it.
that we
Lori
can have-
hugs it all.
I hope we can have another anniversary bash by then. You know, so
Yeah,
that-
that'd
Dude,
be
Why
we're
awesome.
having
not?
a
Why
banger
not?
party,
Are you
dude.
kidding me? Come on.
I'm
Let's
flying
do
people
it.
in from England.
yeah, let's go.
And then Mount Separate Liberty said, I know I keep saying it, but you should seriously check out WV for paranormal activity stuff.
Yeah, I've
and
heard some
that's
crazy
West
shit, yeah.
Virginia. And,
Yeah.
Heard some crazy
yeah,
I've
stuff,
heard
yeah.
some pretty cool shit too there.
It's because a bunch of the old wars and stuff, right?
Well,
Civil
that
Wars
and
revolution.
miners and
Yeah,
shit, all the mine shafts
yeah,
and stuff.
Yeah.
And that'd be
that's
really
so
cool.
rich
So
history.
much.
Yeah,
in that
Yeah,
There's
because
a
you know they
lot.
say that like iron in metals actually are what can project the energy for spirits.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Wow.
Before you
Wow.
guys get done with the, well, actually, no, I'll wait till actually after the super chats. But
All right.
I've got something to add to that because
All right.
there's the Alabama place that's similar
Yeah, that
to
is
this.
interesting.
Really?
Robert Jones says, wishing you guys all the best. I used to go to Pet Vendor all the time when you were a
Oh
kid.
shit!
What the
Look at
hell?
that,
Shit,
Robert.
what's up,
That-
Robert?
That place was awesome.
So
man.
you probably
I
bumped into
I love
him.
that, man. I love that place, man.
That's
That
crazy.
was-
You probably
Yeah,
bagged him up
it's a
some
small
fish or
world.
I
a
probably
snake
did,
or
yeah.
something,
Probably.
right?
You were probably that
It's
asshole that wanted that one
small
guppy that was in
Yeah.
the corner behind the tube. I want the one behind the tube.
And then Evergreen
It's not the
Livestock.
but give
It's
it
not
to
the
me
nice
now.
gourami guy, is it? The nice
No, no,
gourami.
yeah,
Okay.
Oh my god.
Every
Oh
time
my
I go out, I'm
God,
like,
yeah.
that's a nice gourami.
Nice.
Evergreen
so nice.
Livestock. Hi from PA. I'm kind of late to the podcast.
Hey,
Yes, you are,
welcome.
sir, because we're
Welcome.
about to sign out of this hoe.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
Solis Donkey's back.
Sell the donkey. You guys need a sensory
I
deprivation.
don't know if I
tank.
could do
You know,
one.
I would
actually-
lose my fucking mind.
I actually-
there,
I don't
personally.
know if I could
For
do it.
Lori's last birthday, I got her a session.
Oh, really?
No,
She
that
said
is real.
There's one right here, right down the road.
How did you like it?
Oh, did you do it?
I don't know if I could
She
do
said
it.
it was pretty cool. I don't think I could do it.
I don't
think
know if I could do it.
I don't know.
I
I
don't
don't
think
know,
I could
man.
do it.
I don't know.
I think
don't
it would
know.
be good for you.
Yeah.
I think
Maybe.
you could
You
use
don't
it.
know
I think
till you
I-
I don't
try
know,
it, but I
man.
think I'd freak out. in the
I
beginning.
don't
too.
think you're gonna do very good in
No,
it
I don't
either,
think I will. Too.
Because like
There was actually a really great movie back in the day. Gosh darn, I can't remember what the name is, but it was about a sensory thing. But he was taking this like Native American like peyote or whatever, and then going in there, and he was actually metamorphosing his body. And then ultimately his body changed, and it was a really critically acclaimed movie.
Wow.
I mean, like, really good movie.
Oh, it was a movie?
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's why I think that's why I get freaked out by them because of that movie.
Completely
and that was back in like the
understandable.
80s, you know.
Right,
so,
right.
Like I was a kid and I watched that movie and it still freaks me
And
out.
to think
you know?
that's around today, just easily available too.
Yeah, and I can't remember. I wish I could remember the actor's name because we could pull it up because he's like a big name actor now. You know, well now he's older, obviously, but yeah.
Salmon Bowl of 420 is back again. They just announced the U.S. Space Force. What do you guys think about this?
Oh, that's
Declared a few
awesome.
hours ago. I have something to say about this.
Trump's
my friend
been working on it for a
That's
while.
what I'm saying.
He
my
has.
Right,
friend
he's announced it a good minute
exactly.
ago. Yeah.
My friend that's in the military literally got an email to sign up.
I want to
And
be up there, dude.
I swear
the
he-
laser gun.
I honestly like I personally don't want to be involved in it, but I just think that like personally, if I wasn't like working with you guys, I probably would have definitely signed up for that because I would have been
crazy.
so
yeah,
cool.
man.
Yeah.
Like
Go to
oh,
effing
man.
space and like
and
who hasn't
laser beams and
like
shit.
who hasn't watched Star Trek at some point in time been
Yeah.
like that is the final frontier.
And that's kind
Imagine
of my
being the
whole point.
commander.
Now I know
Hell yeah,
Jay
dude.
Jay has a differing opinion on this, and he doesn't have a mic, so we don't have to care about.
Oh,
what
yes.
he says.
better.
Yeah.
It's even better 'cause we
Jay
can
who?
say all kind of things he
Thank
doesn't
God.
like.
But
Shut up, Jay.
Jay just sit there and switch the fucking camera.
It does what it's told.
All you want.
But I say, why do we need a space force if there's
Yes.
not aliens?
I completely agree. I completely agree.
Well,
No.
obviously they had
China.
to admit
Yeah.
to aliens.
China.
Okay.
Fuck.
Yeah.
And crooked Hillary.
But that was a good one. That was a good one.
Because he blames everything on crooked Hillary.
The other day that was so good, dude. Last podcast
fuck.
you did an impression.
Oh yeah, I can't remember. I know. Jesus
Bobby.
Christ. I love work.
I
love
think
work.
that I think that's an important part of our.
No, seriously, I know
Fuck
there's
it.
a lot of satellites and shit up there, but still, what threat do we have?
The
Yeah.
UFOs, dog. That's
Yeah,
the threat.
man.
Bobby,
Yeah.
Bobby Boy said, "Good to see all you guys together. My family and I cannot wait to go to the reptarium one day. You have made my fiance go crazy over reptiles. We have 10.
Yeah,
Awesome.
hell yeah, that's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bobby Boucher.
Yeah, thank you, Bobby Booty.
Bobby.
And then Heavenly Knees hit us again. I was sitting on a
thank
hill
you.
one
Heavenly
time
Knees.
at night getting baked while watching deer with binoculars.
Dude, that's a perfect date.
I saw like 50 red
Yeah, it
lights in
is.
the sky.
Whoa.
I swear I tried to look at them with the binos, and they were gone. I believe it was UFO.
It effing was, dude.
Haven't you been watching? It's UAPs. Jeez.
UAP.
Yeah, UAP.
Or what was
But
it?
I think
Poops, tards, torts, craps. They were craps.
I think the only
That was my
problem with
favorite.
I think the only problem with Nee's statement there is that she
Yeah.
said she was getting baked first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what
no,
I mean?
no, that's fine.
Yeah,
That's-
honestly, when you're
Okay.
alternatively
How do you
minded,
ex-
how do you explain it?
How do you expect to
Knees,
go
come on.
and see the other dimension without a little,
Dude, little
without
bit
a
of
key?
Dude,
without
you gotta
a
get
key.
high
need a
up.
little
If
bit
you're,
of a
if you're
lift
low on the
off.
ground, you can't see the UFOs. But if you're higher, you're closer to it.
So,
Right.
so actually, I got one
Think
for you
about
here. So there's
Okay.
something they like to say in like guns and cannons, all sort of things. Like you kind of need a primer to get to space.
That's right.
true.
That's
Go.
right,
That's true.
man.
Go. There you
That
go.
primer.
Trigger that
Sorry, I had to
jet
be
fuel.
profound for a
Primer is
minute.
No, that
important.
makes
I like
sense.
it. I
Anna
like it.
Carver says, "Love y'all. Got a mom now, but be right back. Thank you.
Come
Anna.
on back. Spank that
yeah.
kid.
Ooh, spank that kid and then come spank us. Kakishi tacos
Please?
or burgers? Tacos. Shout out all my Mexicans.
Ah, man, that's
Tacos,
That's
always.
The dude, that's
Tacos.
my two
Tacos
food
win.
items.
That's my
Yeah,
Taco,
my
taco.
favorite.
That's
no,
literally
no,
the two
no.
food groups.
No,
right there.
no, there's no pizza too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude,
Which
come
we're
on,
getting-
Tacos,
pizza.
burgers, pizza.
Which
That
we're
doesn't
getting
matter.
tonight. We're getting pizza tonight.
Yeah, well-
Little
Getting
Caesars.
pizzas?
Yeah, we're
We
getting
are?
some Little Caesars.
Little squeezers.
Yeah, with your
All
gift
of us?
card.
Oh, I got gift cards. I got
We got gift cards.
I got a
So
$150 gift card for
True that. For Little Caesars.
Damn,
That
that's
explains
crazy.
why every birthday
Wait, be
party
careful,
has
be careful, be
Yeah,
careful.
yeah.
Don't show the numbers off.
I know.
Sir, there was a large purchase on your account.
y'all.
We got
Oh shit!
One's 100, one's 50.
Damn.
You know that it really does explain all the Little
either way,
Caesars
you're
parties
good.
you've been
Either way,
having.
you're good. Yeah.
But this actually, get this, guys. This
Let's get
came
some.
from corporate Little Caesars.
That's so cool.
Yeah, the head of
Oh,
operations.
man.
Yeah, head of
We should figure out how to
operations for
hack it and just keep adding points.
That was from you doing that like Zooty.
Yeah,
right?
dude, I
Yeah.
did that.
That
Well,
was-
allegedly
what a
did that
badass
before.
fucking thing to- oh man.
Yeah, he just sent
That
them
is
out of
so
nowhere.
worth
He's
the
like, hey,
pizza.
I just want you, I wanted to say thank you. And he
That's
sent
awesome.
us
Dude, I've got to go down to the
$150.
new arena, man, and see it.
Well,
well,
there's nothing
Nobody's there right now.
Perfect time to look at it.
Yeah, you can see it from outside right now.
There's something romantic about
I keep
empty
forgetting
arena.
that this whole, you know what I mean? I'm just ready for it to be normal.
And then one of my mom's old friends, Marsha, actually hit us with a super chat. Hi guys, Miss Lori, but you are all awesome.
Thanks.
That's Marta. Marta from Wednesday.
I've heard. Yeah, my mom's talked about you, so that's cool.
Yeah, Marta.
Hope you're all doing well.
You are recognized.
Yeah, Hazardly hits us and says, "Keep up the podcast. Love the long form content." Well, I'm glad that you enjoy it.
Yeah,
and
I'm so loving it.
Everyone else does. Yeah, for sure.
Come by for pizza. We're getting it right
exactly.
after.
My dad,
right? Yeah.
Let's have a party in the Reptarian parking lot right now.
My diverse life vlogs.
6 foot apart.
This is actually Josh Roush right here.
Josh says,
Josh is
"Sup,
awesome.
guys?
Oh yeah, Josh. What's up?
Hope you all are doing well. Cool podcast. Bruce and I grew up close together in Alabama. I was up in Fort Payne.
Oh man, yeah. We had talked about this last time he was here, and
sorry,
I'm
sorry, Noah. I'm sorry, Noah.
I knew it, dude. I've been watching.
I'm
the whole
sorry.
time. But anyways, so me and him, we had connected a long time ago, but we had talked about he's one of the few people from Alabama that had also basically removed himself from essentially just such a
Alabama life,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just there wasn't a lot of connections you could make there.
He's a super cool
guy.
guy. He said he's going to come as soon as we're back.
Oh yeah, dude. I've been chatting with him like crazy, man. I love him.
He's a really cool guy. He's a really cool guy.
Thank you again, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, come for pizza. And then also, guys, again, we're about to hit that 400 like mark, baby. We're like less than 33 likes.
What happened?
33 likes.
Let's go.
I think I'm gonna like it real quick.
Smash it, guys.
Oh, dude. Hit it,
do that
bro.
shit.
Yeah, you can like it.
Totally crush the like button.
I'm gonna like it too.
Every single one of you.
I've got so much Yeti research. You don't even know, bro.
Every single one of you.
400, you
needs to like it.
No.
All right.
Mine says
right now.
I was the 9th like.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I need to like update mine or something.
Yeah. So if you guys want that Yeti content,
really
we're gonna bring it to you, baby. We're gonna have the swampy Yeti. All right.
What do they call him? A skunk ape or something?
Skunk ape.
Skunk ape. That's what it is.
Yeah, because he's.
Oh, dude, I heard about this.
That was my nickname in high school, dude.
Oh yeah.
Skunk ape.
He's just crawling around. He's just climbing on everything like a little monkey. Yeah.
Oh, is that hot Cheetos?
I'm the skunk ape. Hashtag 420, bro.
Oh, shit.
Oh, God. Sherry Lynn Matcat for Lori's Puppy and Wine Fund. Thank you so much, Sherry. Appreciate it.
Oh, I want to see that puppy, too.
We hit 400. Let's go.
Yeah.
Shout out, everybody.
Skunk ape next week.
Now let's get it to 420.
Yes.
We the people of this world.
They have spoken.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Jodie also hit us with a super chat. Brian makes me moist and damp.
Brian.
Yeah. Thank you, Jodie. We appreciate that.
Fucking love it, dude. Fuck yeah.
And I'm red as a fucking tomato now, man.
Hey, you know the worst part is it makes you more embarrassed when they say the word moist.
Yeah. Moist is. I don't ever go down the moist avenue.
Stay moist, Jodie.
Stay moist out there, all right? Don't ever dry up out there, all right?
How can we go back to Marta after this?
Wait. Hey, listen. It's called Altered States. Can you punch that up really quick? It's called Altered States.
No, I know. I
Nailed
have
that
heard
shit.
about this.
Oh, thank you so much. Who donated that? That's
let's see. It's a 1980 science fiction.
Yes, I actually no. So I haven't seen the whole movie, but my dad actually looked this on one time.
What the hell?
Shit, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
He nailed it, man.
Dude, it looks creepy, man.
No, dude, this is literally the shit me and my dad would watch. Like that's the fucked up.
And
part
that's why
about
you have
this.
such a weird movie taste.
There's your 420.
Exactly.
Bruce,
420 likes. We got it.
There we fucking go.
Nice.
Yes.
Wow.
Nice.
Thank you, Will, for that dono helping us with the movie. And
Yeah,
now
that
that
was
we
great,
have
man.
420 likes, I think we can log off. Oh,
Yeah,
wait, we
that's
got
a
one
hit.
more
That's
super
a
chat,
hit.
and then
I
we're
love.
good, baby. Thunder Magnum. Ooh, I got that name. That's like freaking.
Almost
man,
like
that's a
monster.
porno name.
Yeah.
right there.
Thunder
Magnum, man.
Brian,
That's a solid name.
ever breeding white lip pythons again, Dad?
Yeah, we'd like to. Yeah, I mean, we've got a
Okay.
female. We hope to get a male. Yeah.
Thank you
man.
guys so much for watching.
Thank
we
you
want to get those
guys.
albinos
thanks,
too,
guys.
by the way.
I hope. Ooh,
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh shit, baby!
Scary.
We getting spooky up in here, bitch. We getting spooky. I hope you guys enjoyed this little paranormal George story talk. If you did, make sure you guys like it. Okay.
Yeti next week?
And then next week, we're coming
dude.
back with the Yetis. We got the moist
I'm
Yeti.
so excited.
Oh, dude,
That's a new one.
stoked about this. That's a new one. I've never been so excited about a podcast.
Exactly.
It's so great.
Hey, wait a
Next week.
second. Look,
We're gonna come at you.
Whoa!
No. Damn. We can't say that because we can't let Mom know she said that.
Oh shit! Yeah, that is on the.
Yeah,
that
that's
is just
fucked up.
between us and
And with that being said, we'll see you next week with that Yeti talk, baby.
Thank
See you
you
guys.
Peace.
All right, let's order some pizza.
Yeah, I know.